Chapter 2288. Zhao Yun'er smiled politely and said, "It's no trouble at all. I've taught many children. Now that Xin'er is here, I can let them play together and take care of him together." The county deputy's wife smiled and nodded. If it was someone else, she would probably be worried. However, after interacting with Zhao Yun'er, the county deputy's wife knew that Zhao Yun'er was reliable. If she left Xin'er with Zhao Yun, the county deputy's wife believed that Zhao Yun'er could take good care of him. However, her son had never left her side. If he left for a few days, she didn't know if she would be reluctant to part with him. However, when she saw Xin'er's expectant face and how happy he was when he was watching the fun at Zhao Yun'er's house, she felt that as long as Xin'er was happy, it was the most important thing. After sending off the county deputy's family, the other guests also went back one after another. In the end, only Zhao Yun'er's relatives were left. Her uncles and aunts were obviously reluctant to go back, and her second aunt's family was even more so. However, Zhao Yun was too lazy to chase them away. She simply went back to her room and ignored them. If they wanted to sit and watch the fun, then let them be. Anyway, she wouldn't let them stay overnight. Father, mother, Big Brother Yuan's injuries are truly too severe. He needs to recuperate properly for a period of time. I also have no way of bringing him back to the Qin family. Why don't we let Big Brother Yuan recuperate here for a period of time? Our house is just right that we don't mind moving to another room. Also, this house is well ventilated and bright. It's definitely better for him to stay in this house than the family Qin's low and shabby thatched hut. Zhao Ping went to Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao and discussed with them. Qin Yuan's body really couldn't be tormented anymore after he was hit 50 times with the paddle. The Shuailan village was quite a distance from the Zhao family. If they carried Qin Yuan on the carriage and went back on the bumpy journey, Qin Yuan's injuries would probably worsen. If something bad happened to Qin Yuan, it might endanger his life. Therefore, Zhao Ping had no choice but to take the risk seriously. However, Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao were put in a difficult position. They couldn't make the decision in this family. Everything depended on Zhao Yun'er. Zhao Yun'er and Zhao Ping'er were not on good terms. So how could she possibly agree to let Qin Yuan stay in the third branch to recuperate? In addition, the incident between Qin Yuan and Zhao Xinhui was really embarrassing. If the Qin Yuan stayed, the third branch would probably be laughed at. Therefore, while Zhao Yun'er might not agree, they were also a little unhappy. The uncles and aunts at the side chuckled and mocked Zhao Ping'er. Wu Zhenju covered his mouth and laughed sarcastically. "I say, Ping'er girl, you're really big-hearted. You've done such a shameful thing, seducing another man. Shouldn't you be happy now that you've been punished? Why do you still treasure him so much? Normal people aren't like you. It's not that second aunt wants to scold you, but sometimes you have to be more careful. Don't just focus on men. The more you stick to them, the more they think you're worthless and won't bother with you." Eldest Aunt Guo Saisha was more reserved, but she also had the intention of mocking Zhao Ping. "That's right, Ping'er girl. Sometimes you can't spoil your men like this. It will only make them more indulgent and do things that will let you down." Chapter 2289. Second Aunt Liang Jinfen could not bear to see Zhao Yun'er's family doing well. Once she saw that there was something to talk about, she quickly joined in. Liang Jinfen said sarcastically, "That's right, Ping'er lass. Say, you treasure your man too much. Who is like you, treating him like a treasure? You even did this kind of thing. If my Zhaoti's man was like this, I would have let her divorce him long ago. It's fine if you didn't divorce him, but you still treasure your man so much and think of him in everything. Is there a need for this?" Faced with these relatives' sarcastic remarks, Zhao Ping'er's face flushed red with anger. Although what they said was the truth, it was not up to them to make up stories. Furthermore, each and every one of them clearly had the attitude of watching a good show and could not bear to see others doing well. How she treated her lover was her own business. Even if everyone mocked her and opposed her, she would still do it as usual. Who asked her to have Qin Yuan in her heart? However, Zhao Ping knew that these people had nothing better to do. Once they met someone who was in trouble, they would work hard to make up stories. In order to shut these people's mouths, Zhao Ping said coldly, I spoil my man because he has the capital to be spoiled. If I follow him, I can live a good life. The restaurants in this town can earn tens to hundreds of taels of silver every month. This money is something that you paupers can't earn in your lifetime. It's normal for rich men to have 3 wives and 4 concubines. Why can't I forgive him this once? Also, second aunt, don't compare your Zhaodi's man to my man. He married her to give birth to a son. He's different from my man. You can only say a few words about me, but I'm getting richer by following Big Brother Yuan. My future is also something that you poor people can't match. After Zhao Ping finished venting her anger, the faces of the Liang family's people were already pitch black, especially Liang Jinfen. Originally, they just wanted to mock Zhao Ping, but now they were made fun of by Zhao Ping. Seeing how arrogant Zhao Ping was, they were furious. However, what Zhao Ping said was the truth. Because Qin Yuan had opened a restaurant now, it was completely different from the poor boy of the past. According to what Zhao Ping said, the restaurant could earn up to 100 taels of silver every month. Indeed, it was impossible to find such a rich person in the surrounding villages. Relying on the business of the restaurant to slowly accumulate, the family would one day become a wealthy family. Country bumpkins like them would never be able to compare. Seeing that the people from the Liang family were stunned and had nothing to say, Zhao Ping begged Zhao Yunlong and Liang Jinxiao. Father, mother, just let Big Brother Yuan stay here for a period of time. How about this? Big Brother Yuan and I won't freeload. Can we pay you money? As long as Big Brother Yuan can still move, I won't have to make him stay. If there are bumps on the road, Big Brother Yuan's injuries will be more serious. If anything happens, I won't be able to bear the consequences. If something happens to Big Brother Yuan, I won't be able to live in the future. If I can't stay in my in-laws' house, I'll definitely have to return to my parents' house. At that time, I can't avoid causing trouble for father and mother. Father and mother, why don't you let Big Brother Yuan stay here now? I guarantee that he'll be fine, and I won't be a problem in the future. Zhao Ping faced Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua, and her eyes revealed a hint of sincerity. Chapter 2290. Although they also didn't want Qin Yuan to stay in the third branch, Zhao Ping's words weren't without reason. Qin Yuan had been hit 50 times today. If his body wasn't strong enough, he probably wouldn't have been able to survive. But even if he managed to survive, Qin Yuan was still in a half-dead state. At this moment, he was lying on the bed and couldn't get up. If he was sent to the carriage, it would be hard to avoid pulling on his wounds. After some jolting, there would be another major problem. Liang Jinxiao wanted to cut ties with Zhao Ping and never come back, but now he was facing Qin Yuan's life. No matter how cruel she was, she couldn't let her son-in-law lose his life and let Zhao Ping become a living widow at such a young age. It wasn't impossible to let Qin Yuan stay in the third branch for a while until Qin Yuan's injuries were slightly better. Father, mother, just agree to my request this time. I promise it'll be just this once. I won't give you any trouble in the future. Zhao Wenhua said, Ping, don't beg us for now. Discuss this matter with Yin. If she agrees, your mother and I won't have any objections. Zhao Ping hurriedly said, Father, mother, then help me persuade younger sister Yin. She'll listen to you. Zhao Wenhua couldn't bear it and could only nod in agreement. All right then, father will give it a try. If Yin really doesn't agree, father can't do anything about it. Zhao Ping nodded heavily. Zhao Wenhua found Zhao Yin and discussed it with Zhao Yin. Zhao Yin was unwilling, but after seeing Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao's attitudes, if she refused, her parents would probably think that she was heartless. This was a matter of life and death, so she had to pay attention to it. She could haggle over gains and losses in daily life, but when it came to matters that she shouldn't haggle over, she couldn't hold on to it and scheme. Thus, Zhao Yin complied with Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao's wishes and let Qin Yuan stay for the time being. However, once Qin Yuan's injuries recovered, he would have to leave the third branch. During this period, Zhao Ping or had to pay 10 taels of silver as food and lodging fees, as she promised. Zhao Yun didn't care about that little amount of money. She only wanted to let others know that they couldn't take advantage of her. If he really had to take it, he would have to pay the same price. Otherwise, one after another, to take advantage of her. It just so happened that the Liang family was also there. Zhao Yun'er did this to tell the Liang family not to calculate so much. Even though she and Zhao Pinger were sisters, they could still carefully calculate their debts. Their relatives who were separated by a layer were even more so. Zhao Ping, who paid the 10 taels of silver very straightforwardly. As long as her big brother Yuan was fine, she was willing to pay 100 taels of silver. Who asked big brother Yuan to be her only support and support now? They still had this restaurant. As long as Qin Yuan was around, the restaurant could continue to operate and wouldn't be short of money. However, without Qin Yuan, let's not talk about whether she, as a woman, could manage a restaurant. Even if she could continue to operate and earn a lot of money, what was the point of her carrying so much money? If she were to find another man, it would probably be hard for her to fancy him. Previously, Zhao Ping, and Zhao Yun, faced each other coldly. This time, she put down her pride and said gratefully to Zhao Yun, a younger sister Yin, "Thank you." Chapter 2291. Zhao Yun glanced at Zhao Ping, to confirm whether there was something wrong with Zhao Ping. Zhao Ping's expression remained the same. Not only was she not angered by Zhao Ping's stare, but she even smiled slightly. Zhao Yun was a little flustered inside. She thought that Zhao Ping's head must have been damaged. She had been so agitated by today's events that she had developed a mental problem. After discussing this matter, Zhao Pinger hurriedly returned to Qin Yuan's room to continue taking care of Qin Yuan. Zhao Yun did not think too much about it. At this moment, the Liang family was still sitting in Zhao Yun's living room, whispering something to each other. They were just grumbling about Zhao Ping's actions. Compared to the brainless Zhao Ping, Zhao Yun hated people like the Liang family who sowed discord behind their backs even more. Yet they were all thick-skinned. They had clearly finished the banquet, but they still had no intention of leaving. Liang Xinyue did not stop after arriving at Zhao Yun's home. Her gaze never left Mu Lianfeng. However, from Liang Xinyue's reaction, she seemed to be looking forward to seeing Mo Yan. Moreover, Liang Xinyue had specially dressed up for the banquet at Zhao Yun's home. She wore a set of new clothes. The fabric was bright, and the style was not bad. She looked quite delicate when dressed up carefully. However, it was a little too pretentious. People could not help but feel disgust. Why were there girls who did not know how to be reserved? Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinwei said, "Brother-in-law, now that the autumn harvest is over, the weather has become much cooler. Are you still going to build the pigsty that your family mentioned before?" Zhao Wenhua looked at Zhao Yun, seeking Zhao Yun's opinion. After all of this was planned by Zhao Yun. Only Zhao Yun could agree. If Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinwei didn't mention it, Zhao Yun was prepared to let Zhao Wenhua take the initiative to say it. Since the two of them mentioned it, Zhao Yun said, "First uncle, second uncle, if you have time, you can help me build it." "Of course we have time. Aren't we already done with the farm work? There isn't much work to do in the fields. You can work as a bricklayer's assistant." Liang Jinshun replied with a chuckle. Building a pigsty for Zhao Yun's family would not only allow him to earn money every day, but he could also build a house for Zhao Yun's family. Every meal would be delicious. Thinking about Zhao Yun's culinary skills, Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinwei were dying of hunger. Liang Jinwei also followed behind Liang Jinshun and said, "That's right, Yun'er girl. Other than us who have finished with the farm work, basically every family in the countryside has finished with their work. It's easier to find those bricklayers now. Moreover, the weather is much cooler, so the work won't be so hot. The wages can also be lowered. If your family's pigsty is big, I'm afraid it will take a lot of time. Don't wait until winter. It's inconvenient to do anything in the weather. Looking at the weather now, it's the most comfortable time to work. Hurry up and prepare to build the pigsty, right?" Zhao Yun heard these two people's words and felt that it made sense. It just so happened that there wasn't anything important to be busy with during this period of time. The matter of the pigsty couldn't be delayed. The earlier she saw it, the better. She could also arrange for her aunt's family to come over and help. Seeing that her aunt's family was having a hard time, she naturally wanted to help where she could. Chapter 2292. Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinhui both smiled and responded. They couldn't wait. They couldn't wait to go to Zhao Yun'er's house to work earlier, so that they could eat the food cooked by Zhao Yun. They weren't that picky about their food, but ever since they stayed at Zhao Yun'er's house for a while, they had been eating Zhao Yun'er's cooking every day. When they returned home to eat the food cooked by their wives, they couldn't swallow it. They felt that it was tasteless, and their mouths had been raised to be picky. But because they couldn't eat, they were too picky. Later on, they lost a lot of weight. If they didn't come to Zhao Yun'er's house to eat good food and nourish themselves, they didn't know when they could grow back the weight they lost. In the kitchen, Qian Zhonghu and the people hired by Zhao Yun had already helped to clean up the bowls and chopsticks. They were cleaning up in the courtyard. The Liang family was still the same as before. They only knew how to sit and eat. They didn't have any intention of helping Zhao Yun'er's house. Old Madame Liang couldn't stand it anymore. She pointed at her 2 daughters-in-law and 2 granddaughters and said, "Don't just sit there. Go and help out. There are still a lot of bowls and chopsticks that haven't been washed. If you help wash them, it'll be done sooner." After old Madame Liang finished speaking, her 2 daughters-in-law and 2 granddaughters were a little unhappy. Wu Zhenju immediately replied, "Mother, we're here to eat, not to help out. Speaking of which, we're guests. Who would let their guests do the work?" Guo Xiao pursed her lips and said, "Mother, aren't there people busy in the courtyard? Why would they need us?" Old Madame Liang snorted softly. "You're just lazy. You actually came up with so many excuses. Everyone was here for a banquet, so why couldn't they help out a little? Isn't your eldest sister's sister-in-law a guest too? How would she know not to be calculative and say that she's a guest?" Old Madame Liang's bossy attitude made her 2 daughters-in-law a little unhappy. What other people wanted to do was their business. What did it have to do with them? What a daughter-in-law was most afraid of was her mother-in-law's nagging. It was one thing for her to control them at home, but when she went out, she actually didn't give them any face and made them feel awkward. "Mother, you make it sound like we did something wrong. Why don't you say second sister and little sister? As aunts, we're the most important guests. It's not up to us to help." Wu Zhenju rebutted old Madame Liang without giving her any face. Old Madame Liang trembled with anger. This second daughter-in-law was becoming more and more outrageous. She didn't even have a good attitude when speaking to her. She even treated her as her mother-in-law. Liang Jinfen was afraid that old Madame Liang would order her around, so she hurriedly said, "Mother, it's not that I don't want to help. A few days ago, when I was harvesting rice, I accidentally cut my hand. The wound hasn't healed yet, so I can't touch water." Wu Zhenju rolled his eyes at Liang Jinfen, second younger sister. "You really have a good reason. You can't do a big girl like your Lai Di, so why can't you do it? Why don't you order her around?" Liang Jinfen retorted unhappily, "My Lai Di hasn't done much manual labor since she was born. Her skin is soft and tender. If you let her do manual labor, what if her hands become rough and calluses form? What if they become ugly? She's a girl, so her hands are very important." Chapter 2293. Our family's Yuer is also delicate. The main thing is that we, as her uncle and aunt, are more important guests than you, as her aunt. Naturally, you should be the one helping eldest sister with the chores. Anyway, it's not suitable for our family to do it. Wu Zhenju continued to argue with Liang Jinfen. Neither of them was willing to fall behind, afraid that they would be at a disadvantage. "Second sister-in-law, aren't you going too far with your words? We're all guests, so what's the difference in status? Since you don't want to go, don't push the blame to me. You're obviously making us suffer. Why don't you think of our family when you're benefiting?" Liang Jinfen said in a bad mood. Old Madame Liang couldn't help but feel a chill in her heart when she saw her daughter-in-law and daughter quarreling because they were lazy. Neither side was good. What were they talking about? Seeing that the 2 of them were going to continue quarreling, Old Madame Liang angrily stopped them. All right. Stop quarreling. It's so annoying. None of you are easy to worry about. I asked you to do some chores, but you're all here to eat at eldest sister's house. Each one of you is more diligent than the other. Old Madame Liang's expression was a little ugly, and her tone was very sharp. Normally, a gentle old lady would rarely show such a face. This time, she was so angry that she couldn't help but lose her temper. Wu Zhenju pursed his lips and wanted to say something, but he was stopped by Liang Jinhui's gaze. No matter what, old Madame Liang was his mother-in-law and an elder. He couldn't be too presumptuous with her. Although Wu Zhenju was a little unhappy, he listened to Liang Jinhui. Liang Jinfen felt uncomfortable and directly replied to old Madame Liang. Mother, you're saying it as if we're here to scrounge for money. Now that eldest sister's family is doing so well, what's wrong with us coming over to eat? Would eldest sister care about such a small amount of money? Old Madame Liang glared at Liang Jinfen and replied coldly. Haha, aren't you here to scrounge for money? It's your big sister's business that she's rich. Unless she takes the initiative to call you over, you're always leading a big family like this. Every time, you've been eating and taking money. If this isn't cheating, then what is? Liang Jinfen's face immediately turned red. She did have some thoughts of taking advantage of him, but she couldn't let old Madame Liang say it in front of everyone, right? She had lost too much face. Mother, why do you only know how to worry about such trivial things? Big sis didn't say anything, but you came here to say something. If you say something unpleasant, then you're just being nosy. Liang Jinfen said with a red face. Old Madame Liang was impressed by Liang Jinfen's shamelessness and lack of tact. Since Liang Jinfen was so shameless, there was no need for him to hold back. He could just say whatever he wanted. Your big sister is just too embarrassed to scold you. You have to be self-conscious. All of you are the same. Don't just think about taking advantage of others. Although the eldest daughter's family was rich, this was money that they had earned with their own abilities. Others could forget about trying to take advantage of the situation and reap benefits from it. Even blood-related brothers should settle accounts clearly. How can you always freeload like this? After a few more times, you'll be hated by others. Old Madame Liang's words were undoubtedly slapping the Liang family and Liang Jinfen in the face. It made everyone feel uncomfortable. Chapter 2294. Don't speak up for them, in case they don't realize it next time. Old Madame Liang said to Liang Jinxiao earnestly. Liang Jinxiao looked at her and didn't say anything. Actually, she was lying when she said she didn't care. Sometimes the Liang family took advantage of others too much, but she couldn't say it out loud. If she did, she would be called stingy. She didn't care about the food, but she didn't feel good about being taken advantage of. Now, that old Madame Liang said it. It made these people more self-aware. Otherwise, if they continued to do this, it would only become more and more annoying. Old Madame Liang said, if you really have self-awareness, you should leave now. Why are you still dawdling in the eldest girl's house? Do you want to freeload some food back? Or do you want her to send you back with a donkey cart? Old Madame Liang's words stabbed the Liang family and Liang Jinfen's thoughts. They had planned to pack some meat dishes for the banquet and then use the excuse that it was too late to send them back with Zhao Yun'er's family car. After all, it was very tiring to walk a dozen li. It wasn't easy to make the trip here. How could they walk when they were full? But now that old Madame Liang said it like this, even if they had this idea, they couldn't say it out loud. Otherwise, wouldn't they be admitting that old Madame Liang's words were true? That they were here to take advantage of others? Mother, what are you saying? Aren't we just resting a bit more? Can't we leave now? It's not like we don't have food at home. Who cares about eldest sister's food? You make us sound like beggars. My family isn't that poor. Liang Jinfen got up angrily and pulled her husband and daughter, preparing to leave Zhao Yun'er's house. No matter what, she still wanted to save face. She couldn't let old Madame Liang make her sound bad. Moreover, their Su family was considered a wealthy family in the village. They usually ate a lot of meat. It wasn't worthwhile for them to put down their status for some food. The most important thing was to lose face in front of her eldest sister's family. The only pride she had left was her in-laws' family. The Liang family was also trying to save face. Since old Madame Liang had already said so, they couldn't possibly continue to refuse. Only then did they stand up reluctantly, somewhat reluctantly. Just thinking about how there was still more than a dozen miles to go back made him panic. Mother, don't I want to say a few more words and chat? It wasn't easy for him to join in the fun, and he didn't know when he would be able to do so again. So what if he stayed a little longer and said a few more words? However, since Mother has helped eldest younger sister to drive people away, we should also tactfully leave, lest eldest younger sister's family disdain us. Wu Jinju said sarcastically, expressing her displeasure. Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao both looked awkward, and their expressions were slightly stiff. But since things had already come to this, they couldn't possibly try to persuade him to stay. Not only did it seem insincere, but it also made people feel that they were too fake. Compared to the others, Liang Xinyue was the most reluctant to leave. She had come this time hoping to see Mo Yin the most. Strangely, she hadn't seen Mo Yin's figure today, so she felt extremely dejected. Now that she had to leave Zhao Yun's house, it meant that she had no chance of seeing Mo Yin today. She was rather reluctant to leave. Chapter 2295. Wu Jinju hurriedly asked with concern, "Where or what's wrong with you?" Liang Xinyue said with a bitter face, "Mother, I can't take it anymore. My feet hurt so much. I walked more than 10 li today, and now it hurts so much. I have to walk more than 10 li back. How can I walk?" Wu Jinju frowned when he saw Liang Xinyue's appearance. His daughter was a delicate person, but walking more than 10 li was indeed a bit much. Not to mention that Liang Xinyue's feet hurt now. Her feet also hurt badly. But what could she do? Her eldest sister's family had no intention of sending them back. Liang Xinyue squatted on the ground and continued to cry out in pain, "Mother, I can't take it anymore. I really can't walk." Wu Jinju sighed and said helplessly to Liang Jinxiao, "Eldest sister, your family's donkey cart and horse carriage are useless anyway. Why don't you send them back? It saves us the trouble of walking more than 10 li back. Your brother, sister-in-law, and I are fine, but the children at home can't walk so much. No matter what, you're still an aunt. You can't just watch your nephews and nieces suffer, right?" Liang Jinxiao frowned. She would be too stingy if she didn't send them back, but she really didn't have the time to send them back. Although the banquet was over, there were still many things to deal with. She had to invite old Zhao's family to eat the banquet. How could she have so much time to deal with it? Moreover, Zhao Yun had to rest in the room because she was too busy at noon. If she had to send the Liang family back, it would take a lot of time to go back and forth. Zhao Yun's body wasn't that good. She definitely couldn't take it. During this period of time, Zhao Yun has been busy enough. She can't trouble him to worry about these small things. Even though Liang Jinxiao was not used to refusing, he still said honestly, "Second sister-in-law, I'm really sorry. If I could send you back, I would definitely let Yun'er send you back. Yun'er has been busy the whole day and is tired enough. Wanyan Yu still has to take care of things, and she doesn't have the time or energy to do that. He must be allowed to breathe and rest. The rest of my family doesn't know how to drive donkey carts or ox carts, so we can't send you there. So, second sister-in-law, please forgive me. The next time I come over to play, I will definitely send you back when I have time." Liang Jinxiao's tone had already become very gentle. He explained the reason and did not directly refuse in a bad mood. Even though Wu Jinju felt uncomfortable, it was not appropriate for him to continue criticizing and mocking him. Liang Jinhui hurriedly said, "Big sister, it's okay. Since your family can't spare the time, you don't have to send us. Your second sister-in-law is just saying it, don't take it to heart. Second brother knows that it's Tianan's wedding today. Your family has a lot of work to do, so it's normal that you don't have time today." Liang Jinxiao smiled and nodded at Liang Jinhui. Liang Jinhui called out to Wu Jinju, "That's enough. Can't you see that big sister's family is busy? It's fine if you don't want to help, but why are you causing trouble for them?" It wasn't that Liang Jinhui was biased toward his younger sister, but he didn't want the relationship between the two families to be too strained. No matter what, he and his older brother will be coming to Zhao Yun-er's house to build a pigsty. They could earn money from Zhao Yun-er's family and eat Zhao Yun-er's food. Sometimes, one had to consider the big picture and not haggle over small matters. Otherwise, one would only suffer losses. Chapter 2296. Liang Xinyue, who was still squatting on the ground, heaved a sigh of relief when she heard this. She wanted to stay at Zhao Yun'er's house. If Zhao Yun'er really used the donkey cart to send them back, then wouldn't she have no excuse to stay? That was just right. Liang Xinyue continued to pretend to be in pain and grumbled a little. She said to Liang Jinhui and Wu Zhenju, "Father, Mother, I really can't walk. My feet hurt so much." Wu Zhenju frowned and asked Liang Jinhui, "Look, without a cart, how can you go back if she can't walk? Why don't I carry her back?" Liang Jinhui thought about it and felt that this was the only way. What else could he do? Wu Zhenju's face darkened. He hurriedly said, "You're carrying her? She's such a big girl. Let's not talk about whether I can carry her. Even if I can't carry her. It won't be good. If those gossipy old women in the village see us, they'll start gossiping again. Yue has reached the age of marriage and still needs to find husband. We can't let gossip spread. Otherwise, it won't be good for Yue." Liang Jinhui thought about it and felt that Wu Zhenju's words made sense. After all, Liang Xinyue was a big girl. Even if he was Liang Xinyue's father, he couldn't carry his daughter in public. What else can we do? Yue can't walk, and I can't carry her. Are you guys going to support her? Liang Jinhui asked Wu Zhenju. Liang Xinyue hurriedly said, "Father, who can support me? Even if they can't do this, right? It's more than 10 miles away. By the time they carry me back, it'll probably take until the sky turns dark." Liang Jinhui was a little helpless. This won't work, that won't work, then what else can we do? We can't just fly back without doing anything, right? You don't have wings, you can't fly. Liang Xinyue finally revealed her purpose. "Father, Mother, didn't Sister Zier stay overnight at eldest aunt's house after her leg was injured? How about this? I'll stay at eldest aunt's house tonight and go back tomorrow when my leg is better." After saying this, Liang Xinyue glanced at Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao to see if they would refuse or agree. When Liang Jinhui heard this, he was silent for a few seconds. His daughter's idea was indeed feasible. Wouldn't he be able to walk back by himself tomorrow after his foot recovered? Liang Jinhui then discussed with Liang Jinxiao, "Sister, why don't we let Yue stay at your house for the night? Your house is big, so you should be able to give her a room to sleep in for the night. We really can't bring her back. Otherwise, she wouldn't have caused trouble for your family." Liang Jinxiao felt that this wasn't a big deal. At most, she would just stay for one night. It wouldn't cause too much trouble. Anyway, they had prepared a bed and a blanket at home. They ate a lot at night, so an extra set of chopsticks didn't matter. Liang Xinyue couldn't walk, so they couldn't force her to go back. That would be too unreasonable. Just as Liang Jinxiao was about to agree, Zhao Yun'er overheard their conversation. She actually didn't like people she hated living with her, especially Liang Xinyue. This woman clearly had ulterior motives. It would be fine if she really couldn't walk barefoot, but she was afraid that she had said it on purpose to stay. When the Liang family was about to leave, her eyes revealed her reluctance to part with them. It was obvious that she didn't want to leave her house. That was why she came up with such a stupid idea to stay. Chapter 2297. How could she allow another woman to lay a finger on her man? How could she allow another woman to harbor any thoughts that she shouldn't have? Even if this person was her cousin, she wouldn't allow it. Now that she was with Mu Yinfeng, Zhao Yun'er realized that she was very possessive of the man she liked. She didn't want him to be involved with any other woman. If she really allowed Liang Xinyue to stay, what if she turned out to be a troublemaker? Who knew how much trouble it would cause? Zhao Yun'er raised her voice and said, "Cousin, you can't walk anymore?" When Liang Xinyue heard Zhao Yun'er's voice, she looked toward Zhao Yun'er. The two of them looked into each other's eyes. Liang Xinyue felt a little guilty, but in order to stay, she still nodded and said, "That's right, cousin. We walked more than 10 miles today." Now, my feet are completely sore and I can't walk anymore. So I can't go home. I want to stay the night at your house. You have a lot of rooms. I'm sure you can give me one. When my feet are better tomorrow, I'll go back by myself. Cousin, you can't be so petty that you won't let me stay the night, right? Zhao Yin'er, a sized-up Liang Xinyue, and the corners of her mouth turned up in a cold smile. She had already spoken so harshly. What else could she say? If she rejected her, wouldn't she be admitting that she was petty? However, Zhao Yun wasn't a sensible person. She wouldn't really let Liang Xinyue stay just because of her pride. Instead, she replied to Liang Xinyue mockingly, Cousin, it's only been more than 10 miles and your feet are already sore. You're really delicate. It's fine if you're a rich young lady, but we country girls run here and there every day. You shouldn't be like this. Zhao Yun was implying that Liang Xinyue was lying. Liang Xinyue's ears instantly turned red. Then she hurriedly said, Cousin, what do you mean by that? Are you saying that I'm lying? Zhao Yun's lips turned up. I didn't say that. It's what you think. Could it be that you're really lying? Your feet don't hurt? Liang Xinyue then realized that she had been tricked by Zhao Yun. She looked embarrassed and said, Cousin, what are you saying? I'm not that kind of person. My feet really hurt and I can't walk. If I could go back, I wouldn't trouble you. Zhao Yun's smile became colder. From Liang Xinyue's reaction and the guilty posture when she spoke, it could be seen that Liang Xinyue was indeed lying. Her motive was obvious. She wanted to stay over at her house. Wu Zhenju couldn't stand it anymore. He felt that Zhao Yun was being too aggressive. He couldn't help but scold Zhao Yun. Yin'er, my Yu'er's feet hurt and she can't walk back. What's wrong with her staying over at your house for a night? Do you have to be so petty? You even came over to question this and that. You're making it seem like it's rare to have so many people around. After saying that, Wu Zhenju turned to Liang Jinxiao and said, Sister, look at your daughter. We're relatives after all. Don't make it seem like we're worse than strangers. If this stranger is in trouble and really wants to stay over, we'll definitely help her. We won't chase her away like this. Liang Jinxiao was also in a difficult position. She frowned and looked at Zhao Yun'er. Actually, she also didn't understand why Zhao Yun'er would say such things. Even if Liang Xinyue was pretending, it wasn't a big deal for her to stay over for a night. Chapter 2298. When Liang Xinzi finished speaking, everyone looked at her. They didn't quite understand the meaning behind her words. Zier girl, what are you saying? What do you mean my Yu'er isn't pure and has ulterior motives? You have to be responsible for what you say. Tell me, what is my Yu'er's motive? She just opened her mouth and said it. If you don't have any evidence, aren't you making slanderous accusations? Wu Zhenju couldn't take it anymore and questioned Liang Xinzi fiercely. Liang Xinzi curled her lips and said indifferently, Second aunt, what is Yu'er's motive? Wouldn't it be better if you asked her? In any case, Cousin Yin'er is right. Younger sister Yu'er's foot isn't injured at all. It's not that she can't walk. She just wants to stay and doesn't want to leave. You girl, you're spouting nonsense. Wu Zhenju was extremely angry. If it weren't for the fact that Mr. and Mrs. Dang were present, Wu Zhenju would have slapped Liang Xinzi a few times. She was already a grown girl, yet she was still spouting nonsense. It was simply infuriating. I'm not spouting nonsense. Liang Xinzi still stubbornly replied. Just now I saw that younger sister Yu'er could walk. Why did she say that her foot hurts and she can't walk when we were just talking about going home? If it hurts, shouldn't it have hurt when we first arrived? In the end, it didn't hurt at first, but after resting for so long, it started to hurt. Younger sister Yu'er's foot is really a bit strange. Hearing Liang Xinzi's words, everyone felt that Liang Xinzi's words made sense. If it hurt, it should have hurt from the beginning. Why did it start to hurt after resting for so long? That meant that Liang Xinyue was lying because she didn't want to leave. Wu Zhenju felt that he couldn't bear to lose face, so he stubbornly replied, So what? Can't her foot hurt now? My Yu'er isn't like you. She doesn't know how to lie. Liang Xinyue also bit her lower lip and glared hatefully at Liang Xinzi. This cousin of hers was too much. She deliberately exposed her and didn't give her any face. To put it bluntly, Wasn't she also selfish? She did not want her to stay and interact with Mu Lianfeng and Mo Yan. She was afraid that she would find a good man. She was actually jealous of her and did not want her to be happy. If she wasn't able to stay overnight at Zhao Yun'er's house today, she would definitely fight Liang Xinzi to the death. The more Liang Xinyue thought about it, the angrier she got. Liang Xinzi curled her lips and no longer spoke. Anyway, she had already said what she wanted to say. Presumably, Zhao Yun'er knew that Liang Xinyue was lying. With Zhao Yun'er's character, she would definitely not allow Liang Xinyue to stay. Zhao Yun'er was even more determined not to let Liang Xinyue stay overnight. This woman liked to pretend so much. She wanted to see how long Liang Xinyue would continue pretending. Zhao Yun'er gave Xiao He a look. Xiao He had basically become intelligent. He immediately understood Zhao Yun'er's intentions. He barked at Liang Xinyue a few times before quickly lunging towards Liang Xinyue. Liang Xinyue paled in fright from Xiao He's fright. Her face paled in an instant. Zhao Yun'er called out in a hurry, "Oh no, my dog has gone crazy. Everyone, move away. I'm going to be bitten by the dog. Otherwise, I won't be responsible if I lose a piece of meat." The other people in the room moved away in fright, afraid that Xiao He would bite them. Just how painful would it be if Xiao He's long teeth sank in her flesh? In her panic, Liang Xinyue did not think too much. She quickly charged out. Chapter 2299. Liang Xinyue ignored Wu Jinju when it was a matter of life and death. She rejected him directly. "Mother, I can't do that. You should get up on your own. This dog is coming for me. I have to run." Thus, Liang Xinyue ignored Wu Jinju's shouts and turned to leave, leaving Wu Jinju behind. Wu Jinju's heart sank when he saw how his daughter treated him. Normally, he would give his all to this daughter of his, but in an emergency, his daughter abandoned him without caring about her safety. In Liang Xinyue's eyes, her life was more important than her mother's. She had doted on her in the past for nothing. Now, it seemed that she was a heartless person. Wu Jinju's face was bitter. He thought that little black would chase after him and bite him. He kept thinking that it was over. However, he didn't expect that little black would bypass him and chase after Liang Xinyue. Wu Jinju heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that he didn't have to suffer anymore. As for whether Liang Xinyue would be bitten, he didn't know. However, because Liang Xinyue's actions just now had made Wu Jinju's heart cold, Wu Jinju didn't want to care about his daughter's life or death. When Liang Xinyue ran into the courtyard, she thought that she had left Little Black behind. However, when she turned around, Little Black was running straight for her. Liang Xinyue's face turned pale with fright. She quickly broke into a run. Little Black continued to chase after Liang Xinyue. Little Black listened to Zhao Yun'er's hint and didn't chase after Liang Xinyue directly. Instead, it started to bite Liang Xinyue. It only chased after Liang Xinyue as if it was teasing her. However, Liang Xinyue didn't know that. She thought that Little He wanted to bite her, so she didn't dare to stop. She kept running in the courtyard of Zhao Yun'er's house, but she couldn't get rid of Little He. Little He bared its fangs as it chased after Little He. Liang Xinyue was so scared that she was about to cry. This damn dog was too much. Why was he always chasing after her? There were so many people in the house, but it didn't bother with any of them and only chased after her. In the end, Liang Xinyue ran out of energy. She was out of breath and felt like she could die at any time. However, he was afraid of Xiao He and did not dare to stop. He continued to run. Zhao Yun'er, who was standing in the house, looked coldly at what was happening in the courtyard. There was a trace of disdain in her eyes. Before Zhao Yun'er could say anything, Liang Xinzi saw this and sneered. "Second aunt, you said that little sister you wear wasn't faking it. Now you see it, right?" She said that her feet hurt and she couldn't walk. How is it that when she was chased by a dog, she ran faster than anyone else? If I didn't remember wrongly, she was the one who ran the fastest among us. Did her feet hurt? That was obviously not the case. Wasn't little sister you wear lying just now? Even if he didn't want to admit it, Wu Jinju couldn't deny it in front of the truth. This damn girl. He didn't know what she was scheming in her head. She actually lied and wanted to stay overnight at Zhao Yun'er's house. Now that he was exposed in front of everyone, Wu Zhenju was slapped in the face because of what he said just now. At this moment, his face was burning with pain. Zhao Yun'er curled her lips. She didn't have any intention of reprimanding Wu Zhenju. She only said indifferently, "Second aunt, if little sister Yue really hurt her feet, I wouldn't be so petty as to not let her stay overnight. Last time, when little sister Z sprained her feet, I let her stay and even sent her there. It's clear that I don't have such thoughts." Chapter 2300. If it had been just now, Wu Zhenju might have scolded her a little. But now, she did not have the face to say anything because Liang Xinyue was the one who lied first, and they were not in the right to begin with. Zhao Yun'er continued. Also, my family is a little busy today, and I'm afraid that Yue won't be able to take good care of her if she stays overnight. There's still a lot of things to do for Tianan's wedding later. Plus, we have guests at our house, and we just took in Pinger and Qin Yuan, so we don't have any empty rooms at home. We can't possibly let Yue squeeze in with other people to sleep, right? After Zhao Yun'er said this, if Liang Xinyue continued to shamelessly stay, it would seem that Liang Xinyue was in the wrong. Although the Liang family was thick-skinned, they were not so thick-skinned that they had no scruples. Liang Jinhui coughed softly and said to Zhao Yun'er awkwardly, "Yun'er, I've troubled you. Yue is too insensible. Don't worry. I'll take her with me later and won't let her stay here overnight." Zhao Yun'er smiled and nodded. "Thank you for your understanding, second uncle." Liang Jinhui waved his hand awkwardly. It's fine. It's Yue's fault." A victorious look flashed across Zhao Yun'er's eyes. Seeing that she had achieved her goal, Zhao Yun'er did not continue to torment Liang Xinyue. She called out to Little He, and Little He turned and ran towards her. Liang Xinyue heaved a sigh of relief. Because she ran too hard, her legs turned to jelly, and she sat on the ground, unable to regain her senses. Zhao Yun'er could not help but mock her in her heart. How dare she act so arrogantly in front of her with such little guts? She really overestimated herself. After such a torment, the Liang family left with Liang Xinyue. Zhao Yun'er's family immediately regained their composure. Zhao Yun'er went to her room to rest for a while. When she woke up, it was already past 4 in the afternoon. The bowls, chopsticks, and other things in the house had already been cleaned up. The banquet only needed to heat up the dishes prepared for lunch. As for the tables borrowed from Zhao Yun'er's family, they had already returned them. Zhao Yun'er did not expect that her second uncle, Zhao Wenxue, would take the initiative to come to her house to help. After delivering the tables and chairs, Zhao Wenhua and Zhao Wenxue rested in the courtyard. Zhao Wenhua said gratefully, "Second brother, thank you so much for today." Zhao Wenxue smiled and waved his hand. "It's okay. We're brothers. You don't have to be so polite. Your family's Yun'er saved my life before. Second brother, your injuries haven't healed yet, but you insisted on coming over to help. You've been busy for so long. Are you sure your body is okay?" Zhao Wenhua asked with concern. After all, Zhao Wenshui's injuries were too serious. It hadn't been long. Could it be that Zhao Wenshui's injuries had already healed? Zhao Wenshui smiled and replied, "I got some medicine from Dr. Sunday. I'm much better after recuperating. I can't just stay in bed all the time. Doing some light work and exercise will help me recover." Third brother, you were the one who moved the table. I only moved a few stools. Those light things are not tiring at all. What's wrong with me doing this kind of work? After hearing Zhao Wenshui's words, Zhao Wenhua nodded and felt relieved. That's good. Otherwise, second brother, I would feel guilty if something happened to you. Chapter 2301. Well, second brother, that's true, but you still have to be careful. After all, the injuries on your body are different from those of us who are not injured. If you work too hard and something happens to you, I will feel bad. Zhao Yunlong couldn't help but exhort. Yes, second brother, that's true. As the saying went, it was better to be safe than sorry. Otherwise, it would be troublesome if something really happened. Zhao Shui smiled and nodded. Yes, I know. I know my own body well. I won't force myself to do things that I'm not confident of. Yes, yes. Zhao Wenhua smiled foolishly. Not long ago, his second brother had always been lazy and unwilling to do anything. It was just like how Zhao Wenshui had always used the excuse of not feeling well to not do farm work before they had separated from the family. But now he actually took the initiative to help his family. Moreover, Zhao Wenshui didn't just help his family. He also helped the other families. Zhao Wentao mentioned that Zhao Wenshui helped to harvest grains. Based on this, it could be seen that his second brother had really turned over a new leaf and was different from before. Of course, this was a good thing for old Zhao's family. In the past, Zhao Wenshui was too muddle-headed and did a lot of ridiculous things. Not only did he implicate others, but he also suffered. Now, his second sister-in-law had divorced his second brother. Their relationship with Jing was also very strained. Zhao Wenshui had to live with Zhao Tianyu alone. Life wasn't easy. It didn't matter if the villagers were poor. The most important thing was to work hard as a family. He didn't even have a wife and had to rely on himself. It felt strange. After the two of them sat down to rest for a while, Zhao Wenhua asked earnestly, "Second brother, do you have any plans in the future? You can't possibly live with Tianyu alone." Zhao Wenshui smiled and said, "After some time, I'll go to my second sister-in-law's maiden home and coax her. I'll make things clear to her and hope that she can forgive me and come back with me. I know I've done a lot of ridiculous things, but I want to turn over a new leaf now. So I hope your sister-in-law can give me a chance to turn over a new leaf." Zhao Wenhua nodded. "That's good. After all, second sister-in-law is Tianan's mother. It's better for her to take care of him. If you marry another woman, Tianyu will only have one more stepmother and may not be able to take good care of the child. Yes, no matter how good a stepmother is, she is not as good as a biological mother." Tianyu also said that he misses his mother. Zhao Wenshui sighed with emotion. If it weren't for the stupid things he had done before, Li Chueying wouldn't have left, and Li Chueying and Zhao Tianyu wouldn't have been separated. A good family had been turned into a mess by him alone, to the extent that the family was almost torn apart. Fortunately, he had come to his senses now. Otherwise, if he continued to cause a ruckus, no one would care even if he died. Zhao Wenhua patted Zhao Wenshui's shoulder. "Second brother, take it slow. I believe second sister-in-law can't bear to part with Tianyu. In the future, your family will be able to live a good life together." "Thank you, third brother." Zhao Wenshui thanked him gratefully. Everyone else despised him. Only Zhao Yunlong and Zhao Wentao were willing to pay attention to him and talk to him. The people from the first branch of the family didn't even want to look at him. Chapter 2302. I just want to thank you. Third brother, thank you for not despising second brother. I'm a useless person. I've caused too much trouble for others in the past. Zhao Wenshui's face was full of guilt and annoyance. He also felt a little disgusted with himself. Zhao Wenhua hurriedly comforted him. "Second brother, we're brothers. No matter how many mistakes you've made, brothers should be more tolerant and forgiving. As long as it's not outrageous, it's really unforgivable." Zhao Wenshui's heart was deeply moved again. With Zhao Wenhua's words, Zhao Wenshui felt that he was not alone at this time. He still had brothers who supported him behind him. For the sake of his brothers, he had to be a good person and not let them down too much. As the two of them spoke, Zhao Yun'er's kitchen started to get busy again. They still had to continue preparing for the banquet. However, because only old Zhao's family would be eating together, there was not much to prepare. There were many meat and vegetable dishes left over from the lunch banquet, so there was no need to make too much of a fuss. These leftover dishes only needed to be heated up a little and could be eaten. Today's incident was indeed a little troublesome. Zhao Yun'er guessed that not everyone could come to the banquet at old Zhao's house. Fifth uncle and fifth aunt were afraid that the two children would do the same to others, so after lunch, they rushed back to town. Zhao Xinhui was beaten 30 times with the paddle and was now lying half dead in old Zhao's house. Hua Chunhua was so anxious that she was in no mood to come over for lunch. She did not eat at lunch and only asked for something to fill her stomach. After returning home, she directly guarded Zhao Xinhui, afraid that something would happen to Zhao Xinhui. However, when night fell, she still did not see Zhao Xinhui wake up. Hu Chunhua was anxious. When night fell, Zhao Xinhui still did not wake up. Could it be that something serious really happened? If something serious happened to her daughter, she did not want to live anymore. She didn't want to see her son die before her own. The more Hu Chunhua thought about it, the more regretful she felt. Why didn't she stop Zhao Xinhui and Qin Yuan from getting together earlier? Or she should have asked them to keep a low profile and not be so ostentatious. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been punished so severely today. Although Hu Chunhua cared about money and agreed to let Zhao Xinhui and Qin Yuan be together because of money, she felt that compared with her daughter was more important. After all, one could only enjoy life if they were alive. There were some things that money could not make up for. Zhao Baoshan also returned to old Zhao's house. He sat in old Zhao's courtyard and smoked. Although he didn't say anything, he was worried about his daughter's situation. If he really couldn't make it, he would have to send his child away. He would feel very sad. When it was almost time for the banquet to start, Zhao Binshan called out to Hu Chunhua, who was in the room. "Old woman, we should go to Old Third's place. Otherwise, he will have to trouble himself to invite us over." When Hu Chunhua saw that Zhao Xinhui showed no signs of waking up, she replied unhappily, "Our daughter is already in this state. Who would be in the mood to eat? If you want to go, you can go. In any case, I won't go." Zhao Baoshan put down his cigarette and sighed heavily. Even if you don't want to eat, you won't wake up. The most important thing is to fill your stomach. If you fall, who will take care of her? No matter what, you have to take care of your own health. Don't tire yourself out first. Chapter 2303. After being scolded by Zhao Baoshan, Hu Chunhua wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes. "I don't care. Anyway, if my daughter can't do it, I won't be in the mood to eat. You're the only one who's magnanimous. Your daughter is already like this, but you don't even fart. You don't even care about her. It's not like she's your daughter. Why is she so pitiful to have such a heartless father like you?" The corner of Zhao Baoshan's mouth twitched. This old woman's words were too infuriating. Could it be that he, an old man in his 20s, had to cry like a woman? What kind of joke was that? The scandal today had already embarrassed him enough, and he was being mocked by the other people in the village. If he still cried and made a fuss now, who knew how many people would continue to laugh at him later on? When one was old, what they cared about the most was their reputation. He didn't want to become the target of ridicule before he died. As for Zhao Xinhui, speaking of which, he was also full of anger. Even if she had hooked up with a Qin Yuan, she didn't have to be so ostentatious like today. He didn't know where she learned from. She didn't go home when she had a home, but ran to the grassland every day to have sex. Wasn't she deliberately letting others catch her? In addition, she was unlucky today to have met Lord Li Zheng, so she had to be punished for this matter. Zhao Baoshan's only worry now was that this matter would spread throughout the surrounding villages. After all, bad news spread far and wide. He didn't want old Zhao's family to be mocked by the surrounding villages. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to go out and meet people. Is there any use for me to worry? Will my daughter wake up after yelling at her a few times like you? What are you talking about? Zhao Baoshan snorted in displeasure. Hu Chunhua sobbed. "If you want to eat, you old man can eat. Don't worry about me. If it doesn't wake up, I'll have to call Dr. Sun over to take a look. I don't want anything to happen to her." Fine. I won't care about you. Old woman, you could do whatever you want. It's none of my business anyway. Zhao Baoshan replied angrily, then got up and walked in the direction of Zhao Yun'er's house. When Zhao Baoshan came over, Zhao Wenhuo went forward and asked Zhao Xinhui's condition. Zhao Baoshan's head and Zhao Baoshan's mother. Zhao Xinhui's SS heart. Zhao Yunlong was worried for Zhao Xinhui. After all, she was his sister. Even if Zhao Xinhui had done something wrong, he did not want Zhao Xinhui to lose her life. Zhao Yunlong comforted Zhao Baoshan and then began to prepare for the banquet. The originally lively wedding was disrupted by today's incident. The atmosphere in old Zhao's house was a little gloomy, and there was no sense of joy like before. But there was nothing the third branch could do. If they had known in advance, they would have stopped it. After the family had dinner together, they went back to their own homes. They didn't have the mood to make a scene in the bridal chamber. However, it gave Zhao Tianan and Mu Hin a chance to have some peace and quiet. Zhao Tianan could only enter his bridal chamber to see Mu Hin at night. Mu Xian had been waiting alone in the bridal chamber for a long time. In the middle, only the third branch had sent her some food. After that, she was the only one left. She was bored to death. She heard some sporadic conversations outside the bridal chamber. She knew that something big had happened in the family today, but no one told her. As soon as Zhao Tianan came, Mu Hin's mood rose a lot. She was a little excited. Chapter 23:04. As soon as Zhao Tianan entered the room, Mu Hin smelled the alcohol on him and asked with concern, "Tianan, how are you feeling? Are you feeling unwell?" A person's body would feel uncomfortable after drinking too much. Zhao Tianan smelled so strongly of alcohol, so he must have drunk a lot. At the thought of this, Mu Hin's heart was full of worry. Zhao Tianan only felt that his chest was stuffy and his head was a little swollen. After drinking so much alcohol, he did feel a little uncomfortable. Unlike those who could drink, no matter how much they drank, nothing serious would happen to them. However, he was different. After drinking, his body felt very uncomfortable. However, this was his first marriage in his life, and it was very inappropriate for him to refuse to drink at this time. For such a joyous occasion, in accordance with tradition, he had to resist the urge to drink more. Now that he had entered the bridal chamber, he only felt that his whole body was empty. Finally, he could stop drinking and go see his wife. He had been thinking about Mu Hin since this morning and had been thinking about her all day. He was very anxious, and now they were finally in the bridal chamber. Zhao Tianan quickly quickened his pace and walked toward Mu Hin. When he sat down next to Mu Hin, he smiled and replied, "I'm fine." "That's good." Mu Hin responded bitterly. Zhao Tianan had already grabbed Mu Hin's hands and held them tightly. With a happy expression, he said excitedly, Xin, I finally married you today and became your husband. From now on, you are my wife, and we will live happily in the future." Mu Hin responded. She was full of anticipation for Zhao Tianan's words. "Tianan, hurry up and take off the veil on my head." Mu Hin urged somewhat impatiently. She couldn't take off the red veil on her head herself. It had to be done by the groom. Only then did Zhao Tianan react. He was so excited that he didn't even know to remove the red veil. Before taking off Mu Hin's red veil, Zhao Tianan was looking forward to it. She wondered what Mu Hin looked like under the red veil. Looking at the new clothes that Mu Hin was wearing today, she was exceptionally beautiful. Her face must be even more beautiful. After removing the red veil, Zhao Tianan was pleasantly surprised by Mu Hin's outfit. She did not expect Mu Hin to be so beautiful. Her beautiful face was fair with a tinge of red, and her long eyelashes were like a pair of butterfly wings under the light. Her delicate little face and thin lips made her look especially charming. He knew that Mu Hin was delicate and pretty, but he didn't know that Mu Hin would be so beautiful after dressing up. Especially with the pearl hairpin on her head, she looked like a delicate and beautiful flower. Looking at such a beautiful bride, Zhao Tianan felt his heart skip a beat. Then he couldn't help but praise, Xin, you're really beautiful today." A tinge of red appeared on Mu Hin's cheeks, and she lowered her head in embarrassment. She didn't dare to look into Zhao Tianan's eyes. She had only just seen Zhao Tianan's handsome appearance today. No wonder her sister praised him. After seeing him, she knew that Mulan was not exaggerating. Zhao Tianan was indeed much more handsome than usual today. Such a groom would naturally charm a group of young ladies. Zhao Tianan knew that Mu Hin was embarrassed, and so was he. Both of them were thin-skinned, but one of them had to take the initiative to enter the bridal chamber first. Chapter 23:05. Zhao Tianan moved closer to Mu Hin shyly and whispered into Mu Hin's ear, Xin, Don't lower your head. You're so beautiful today. Let me take a good look at you. It would have been better if Zhao Tianin hadn't said anything. Once he did, Mu Hin became even more shy. She lowered her head and replied softly and shyly, Tianin, Xin, we're husband and wife now. You don't have to be so shy in front of me. Zhao Tianin took Mu Hin's hand and said earnestly. After hearing Zhao Tianan's words, Mu Hin slowly raised her head. The two of them looked at each other, and they both looked a little shy. Zhao Tianan's handsome appearance today made Mu Hin feel like she couldn't get enough of him. She was so lucky to be able to marry such a man. She probably had no idea how many people were envious of her. At the thought of officially becoming Zhao Tianan's wife from today onward, Mu Hin was full of anticipation and excitement for their future life. The two of them looked at each other for a while and felt the atmosphere slowly warming up. Zhao Tianin moved closer to Mu Hin and said, Xin, it's already very late. We're going to consummate our marriage. At the mention of consummating their marriage, Mu Hin's face suddenly flushed red like a monkey's butt. That was because she knew what it meant to have sex with Zhao Tianin, and that was to do embarrassing things with him. In fact, her heart was also full of anticipation, but she was also a little nervous and embarrassed. After all, that kind of thing was too intimate, Tianin. Zhao Tianin saw Mu Hin's shyness and said, Xin, we're husband and wife now. It's only right for us to do this kind of thing. We're going to have babies together in the future. Mu Hin nodded shyly and responded. She married the man she liked. Her happiness wasn't to give birth to his children. However, when giving birth to a child, they had to consummate their marriage. Xin, Zhao Tianin was getting closer to Mu Hin. He reached out and was about to take off Mu Hin's clothes. Mu Hin's heart clenched as he realized what Zhao Tianin was about to do. He hurriedly stopped him. Tianin, what happened? Zhao Tianin was stunned. He thought that Mu Hin was unwilling, so he felt a trace of disappointment and sadness in his heart. Mu Hin blushed and asked, Is there anyone outside? She had previously mentioned that there were many newlyweds who could eavesdrop from behind the door or through the windows. That was why she was embarrassed. If someone heard her, how embarrassing would that be? Zhao Tianin pondered for a few seconds and replied uncertainly, I don't think so. Why would there be people outside? He had just seen his parents and the rest of the family wash up and then go back to their rooms. Mu Hin was a little worried and said to Zhao Tianin, Go take a look and confirm it. Zhao Tianin nodded and got up to open the door. He then opened the window to take a look. After confirming that there was no one outside, he returned to Mu Hin's side. Xin, there's really no one outside. Can we consummate our marriage now? Zhao Tianin was a little impatient. It was said that every minute of the night was worth 1,000 gold. He had tasted that feeling before, and he still missed it. However, before he married Mu Hin, he and Mu Hin had maintained a level of restraint. Other than that one accident, they had never done it. However, that didn't mean that he didn't want it. As a normal man, how could he not have such needs? Chapter 23:06. She was his wife. They were getting married today and consummating their marriage at night. They should do what they should do now. However, when Zhao Tianin approached Mu Hin again, he was stopped by Mu Hin again. Xian, what's wrong? Are you unwilling? If you're unwilling, I won't force you. Let's sleep now. Although Zhao Tianin wanted to, he still respected Mu Hin. If Mu Hin didn't agree, he didn't want to force her to do something she didn't like. Mu Hin blushed and shook her head. No, Tianin, there's light in the room. Can you blow out the candles first? Mu Hin's voice was very small when she said this, as if she was very nervous. After saying this, she lowered her head even more. Zhao Tianin knew that Mu Hin was embarrassed, so he went to blow out the candles. This time, when he approached Mu Hin again, Mu Hin didn't refuse. Zhao Tianin got to eat meat as he wished. The two's intimate moment was even more precious. After a night of torment, both of them felt sore all over when they woke up the next day. When they woke up, it was already 9 o'clock in the morning. The sun was already shining through the window. The rest of old Zhao's family had also woken up, except for the two of them. However, Zhao Yun'er's family was very understanding. After all, it was a night of intimacy, so it was normal for them to sleep too late and wake up late the next day. When Mu Hin entered the house, Zhao Yun'er's family was very happy to have another member, especially Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao, who already had grandchildren, now hoped that Mu Hin could give their third branch a few grandchildren. Mu Hin woke up in the morning and ate breakfast under Zhao Yun'er's warm hospitality. She looked very embarrassed. When other people married into their in-laws' family, they had to wake up early every day to serve their in-laws. However, she was lazy on the first day and slept until this time. Mu Hin was afraid that she would leave a bad impression on Zhao Yun'er's family. However, she found that her worries were unnecessary. Zhao Yun'er's family was very nice. They did not say a word about her. Instead, they were considerate and concerned about her. To be able to marry into such a family, Mu Hin felt that she had already reaped the blessings of 8 lifetimes. On top of that, she married the man she loved, which made her think that the heavens were looking out for her. In the morning, Zhao Ping, and Ma Xiaofeng went to the restaurant in the town. Now that Qin Yuan was bedridden, the restaurant really needed someone to take care of it. Zhao Ping knew that Qin Yuan had no one to take care of him. Therefore, when she went to the restaurant this time, she entrusted most of the restaurant's matters to Ma Xiaofeng. She asked Ma Xiaofeng to help her take care of the restaurant during this period. She did not have to worry about the restaurant's matters and could devote herself to taking care of Qin Yuan's injury. Ma Xiaofeng took over the restaurant. In fact, Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan did not do much before. Basically, the restaurant's management was all Ma Xiaofeng's ideas. Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan did not play a big role. If it were not for Ma Xiaofeng's clever mind, which was better than Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan's scheming, the restaurant's business would not be as good as it was now. Zhao Ping trusted Ma Xiaofeng completely. Naturally, she was relieved to leave the restaurant to her. After arranging the restaurant's matters, Zhao Ping rushed back to Shuilan village from Yang City. She could not wait to see how Qin Yuan was doing. Chapter 2307. Qin Yuan was her only hope. She only hoped that he could be well. Only then would everything she did now be worth it. Among the things she bought, there were tremella, longan, red dates, brown sugar, and so on. They were all things that nourished the blood. This time, Qin Yuan was hit 50 times with a plank, and quite a lot of blood seeped out of his buttocks. Since yesterday, Qin Yuan's face had been pale. It was obvious that his blood was insufficient. Thus, she should buy some things that nourished the blood. This way, Qin Yuan could recover faster. Once she returned to the third branch, Zhao Ping went straight to Qin Yuan's room to check on Qin Yuan's situation. At this time, Qin Yuan was already awake. He lay on the bed, not daring to move. Because his buttocks were injured, he could not lie down to sleep. After lying on the bed for such a long time, there was an indescribable soreness all over his body. If he were to crawl for a while longer, his body would probably be crippled. "Big brother Yuan, how are you?" Zhao Ping asked with concern. Qin Yuan said with a bitter face, "My body hurts. My buttocks also hurt." Sigh. Zhao Ping sighed heavily, her face full of heartache. If only she was the one who was suffering right now. It just had to be Qin Yuan. It was a pity that this kind of pain could not be transferred. No matter how uncomfortable Qin Yuan was, he could only bear it alone. "Big brother Yuan, just bear with it for a while more. It will slowly get better." Zhao Ping consoled him. Qin Yuan gritted his teeth and replied, "I know." Even if he did not bear with it, there was no other way. If he wanted to blame someone, he could only blame himself for having to have sex with Zhao Xinhui in the wild. Otherwise, he would not have been discovered by others, causing him to suffer such pain. However, there was no medicine for regret in this world. What happened was what happened. "Big brother Yuan, rest well. If there's anything you need me for, just let me know. I've already handed the restaurant over to Little Feng to manage. From today onwards, I'll accompany you at all times to take care of you. You must be bored in the house by yourself. Not only can I take care of you, but I can also chat with you to pass the time. It's better than you being alone in the house." Zhao Ping said to Qin Yuan with a smile. Qin Yuan looked at the woman in front of him with gratitude. Only Zhao Ping stayed by his side to take care of him without any complaints. He was afraid that he would owe her more and more. Zhao Ping, you are a good woman. I was blind in the past. I didn't know how to cherish you, Qin Yuan said. He had never said such a thing before, but this time, he said it from the bottom of his heart. Zhao Ping was touched and happy when she heard it. She held Qin Yuan's hand and said with a smile, Big brother Yuan, it's enough to hear you say that. Let the past be the past. As long as we are together now, it's fine as long as we live well together. Qin Yuan nodded heavily in response. Then, he suddenly thought of Zhao Xinhui. Compared to Zhao Ping, Zhao Xinhui was clearly much colder. He knew that Zhao Xinhui didn't truly love him. Or rather, even if Zhao Xinhui loved him, Zhao Xinhui definitely loved herself more than she loved him. She had also received 30 paddles this time. Originally, she was already injured, and her body wasn't good. He didn't know if she could survive this time. Although Zhao Xinhui had broken his heart, Qin Yuan still couldn't help but ask about Zhao Xinhui's situation because of his feelings for her. Ping, how is your aunt now? Zhao Ping was slightly stunned. Then, a hint of jealousy appeared on her face. Chapter 23:08. Her aunt was such a bad woman. Why was Big Brother Yuan so obsessed with her? Could it be that he did not remember what she did and said to him yesterday? Could it be that he still wanted to stick to her? It was said that women love bad men. Could it be that this saying applied to women as well? Men love bad women too? Was it because her aunt was bad that she seduced her Big Brother Yuan? Seeing Zhao Ping's displeasure and jealousy, Qin Yuan hurriedly said, Ping, don't misunderstand. I was just casually asking. If you don't like it, I won't ask anymore, Zhao Ping sighed. She was not used to Qin Yuan's attitude. After all, she was used to Qin Yuan's modesty. Zhao Ping said, Big Brother Yuan, my aunt's condition is much worse than yours. I heard from my grandfather last night that she still hasn't woken up at night. Oh, Qin Yuan responded. Zhao Xinhui's condition was indeed much worse than his. He just did not know if something big would happen. Even if Zhao Xinhui treated him like that and made him feel a little bitterly disappointed, Qin Yuan was clear that he had implicated Zhao Xinhui in this matter. After all, he was the one who liked Zhao Xinhui first and took the initiative to pester Zhao Xinhui. And it was also him who suggested to have sex in the open to seek excitement when he was discovered. Even if his fate with Zhao Xinhui was over in the future, he still did not wish for anything to happen to Zhao Xinhui in his heart. Zhao Ping pursed her lips and said to Qin Yuan, Big Brother Yuan, don't worry about her. Whatever happens to her, she asked for it. The most important thing is for you to take care of your own injuries. Big Brother Yuan, you're hungry now. I'll go prepare some food for you. I bought many tonics from Yang City today. I'll go and stew some longans for you now. Qin Yuan was still thinking about Zhao Xinhui, so he nodded absent-mindedly when Zhao Ping talked to him. Zhao Xinhui carried his things and walked out of the house. When he arrived at the kitchen, he saw Mu Hin sitting idly in the courtyard. He was a little displeased. In Zhao Ping's opinion, it was all because Mu Hin took away Zhao Tianan that Ma Xiaofeng couldn't be with Zhao Tianan. Because of Zhao Tianan's marriage, Ma Xiaofeng was very sad yesterday, and she saw it all. At this moment, Zhao Ping couldn't help but feel indignant for Ma Xiaofeng. Ma Xiaofeng was clearly so much better than Mu Hin. Why did this silly brother of hers take things too hard and choose Mu Hin instead of Ma Xiaofeng? Perhaps it was because Mu Hin's vixen methods were too powerful, and Ma Xiaofeng couldn't beat her, so he lost. Mu Hin also felt Zhao Ping's scorching gaze on him. He stood up a little fearfully and called out to Zhao Ping, Big sister. Zhao Ping was Zhao Tianan's big sister after all. Now that she was married to Zhao Tianan, Zhao Ping was also her big sister. As for Zhao Ping, no matter whether she liked her or not, and no matter what grudges they had in the past, she had to maintain respect for Zhao Ping for Zhao Tianan's sake. Zhao Ping rolled her eyes at Mu Hin and said sarcastically, You're so free, sitting there doing nothing. Did the Zhao family marry you back to treat you like an ancestor? After being scolded by Zhao Ping like this, Mu Hin lowered his head and didn't know what to say. In fact, she also wanted to help with the chores, but Zhao Yun'er and Liang Jinxiao both rushed to do the chores. She also woke up late, so there were many things that she didn't have a chance to intervene. Chapter 2309. After being scolded by Zhao Ping Mu Hin walked up to Zhao Ping and asked weakly, "Big sister, is there anything I can help you with?" Although Mu Hin had already taken a step back and showed a good attitude, Zhao Ping was still not tactful. She rolled her eyes at Mu Hin and then stuffed the longan and red dates in her hand into Mu Hin's hand. She ordered her aggressively, "Hurry up and help me stew the longan. I want to make it for my husband. He needs it to nourish his body." Mu Hin took the longan from Zhao Ping's hand and immediately nodded. "Okay, big sister, I'll go now." Although she felt uncomfortable being treated like this by Zhao Ping, she knew that since she was the daughter-in-law of the Zhao family, she had to be respectful to the Zhao family. For Zhao Tianan's sake, she had to endure it. Mu Hin took the things into the kitchen and began to help Zhao Ping stew the longan. Zhao Ping pursed her lips and looked at Mu Hin with displeasure. However, she did not continue to argue with Mu Hin. Instead, she turned around and went into Qin Yuan's house to continue accompanying Qin Yuan. Naturally, Mu Hin did not have to worry about this matter. She was not worried that Mu Hin would steal the longan. If Mu Hin really did steal the longan, she could not wait. She could use this matter to make a fuss in front of Zhao Tianan and let his younger brother know what kind of person Mu Hin was. At this time, Zhao Yun was at old Zhao's house. She had borrowed a lot of bowls and chopsticks from old Zhao's family during the banquet yesterday. Now, she was here to return them the bowls and chopsticks. When she arrived at old Zhao's house, she found that the atmosphere in old Zhao's house was a bit gloomy. When Zhao Yun returned the things to Qian Zhonghu, she asked casually, "Fourth aunt, did something happen to our family?" Qian Zhonghu sighed and pulled Zhao Yun to the side. She whispered to Zhao Yun "Yun, it's your aunt? What's wrong with my aunt? Didn't Dr. Sun take a look at her yesterday? In the end, your aunt didn't wake up at night. Dr. Sun said that your aunt's condition has worsened. She doesn't know if it will endanger her life. Dr. Sun said that if she doesn't wake up in the next 2 days, she might not make it." Qian Zhonghu sighed secretly. After all, Dr. Sun said that she should be able to save her life. Old Zhao's family was relieved because of this. Who knew that in the blink of an eye, her condition had worsened? If she didn't wake up in a few days, she might not make it. Didn't that mean that Zhao Xinhui would die at a young age? Although Zhao Xinhui was usually a bit too arrogant, she wasn't a bad person. Her personality was spoiled by Hua Chunhua, so her nature was still considered pure. She was only in her 20s now. She was in the prime of her youth. It would be a pity if she died at this time. The most important thing was that Hua Chunhua and Zhao Baoshan had to send off their own children. How sad would that be? As her brothers and sisters-in-law, they couldn't bear to see such a scene. Zhao Xinhui was in the wrong. It was enough to punish her 30 times with the paddle. If she lost her life, it was still too much. Zhao Yun didn't feel much. Zhao Xinhui was such a scourge, and she was the one who caused her to end up like this. She reaped what she sowed, so there was naturally no sympathy. Chapter 2310. Qianjue sighed and said, "Yes, life and death are fated. I just hope that your aunt will be blessed by the heavens this time. Your grandpa and grandma were guarding your sister-in-law the whole night last night. They're already so old. How can their bodies endure staying up all night? They can only relax if your aunt wakes up earlier. Otherwise, they'll probably collapse from exhaustion." Qianjue was full of worry as she spoke. Her family had tried to persuade Zhao Baoshan and Hua Chunhua, but the old couple refused to listen. They didn't care whether they were tired or not, and just stayed by Zhao Xinhui's side. Zhao Yun couldn't help but shake her head. This Zhao Xinhui was really harming others and himself. As long as he kept the distance from Qin Yuan, he wouldn't implicate her, and old Zhao's family wouldn't worry about her. Speaking of which, Zhao Xinhui could be considered a mistress in someone else's marriage. Mistresses didn't have good endings since ancient times. It was better in ancient times, but in the 21st century, wouldn't Zhao Xinhui be hacked to pieces by his first wife? There's no point in being anxious. We can only wait. Fourth aunt, return the things to me. I'll be leaving first. Okay, go back. Qian Jue nodded. She didn't want to add to the troubles of old Zhao's family with Zhao Yun. When Zhao Yun returned home, she saw Mu Hin busy in the kitchen. Zhao Yun quickly ran over and said to Mu Hin, Xin, rest first. Let me do the work. Don't worry so much about family matters. You must be tired from last night, right? Rest well today. Zhao Yun knew that the newlyweds had a lot of fun last night. She was worried that Mu Hin's body couldn't take it, so she stopped her and didn't let her do more work. When Mu Hin heard Zhao Yun's words, she blushed and lowered her head shyly. Zhao Yun smiled awkwardly. She had forgotten that Mu Hin was a shy girl, unlike Mulan. She could talk about such things openly with Mulan, but she could not do so in front of Mu Hin. Zhao Yun couldn't help but mutter in her heart. They obviously came from the same womb. Why did Mulan not know how to be shy when talking to her about this kind of thing, but Mu Hin was so shy? However, when she thought of the gap between her and Zhao Yun, she felt that the gap between Mu Hin and Mulan was nothing. One had to know that the original owner had a delicate face, but Zhao Ping's face was extremely ugly. Well, let's not dwell on this matter. Zhao Yun smiled and said to Mu Hin, You're married to Tianan, so you're my sister-in-law. I'm your second sister. There's nothing to be shy about between us. You and Tianan are husband and wife. Since you're already married, there's bound to be bedroom matters. Cough, cough. If there's anything you don't understand, you can ask me directly. You can also ask Mulan's sister-in-law. Mu Hin's face turned even redder. Zhao Yun had never seen such a shy girl. She instantly regretted her words. Wasn't she a little too straightforward? Mu Xin was a little scared, however. She didn't know that Mu Hin's skin was so thin. She didn't even have a third of Mulan's skin. It seemed that she had to discuss with Mulan later and let Mulan teach her sister well. Mu Hin hesitated for a few seconds before responding. Her voice was as soft as a mosquito's. If it wasn't for the lack of noise in the room, Zhao Yun probably wouldn't have heard it. Chapter 23:11. Sister Ping asked me to stew longan and red dates for brother-in-law to nourish his body. Mu Hin explained truthfully. Zhao Yun frowned when she heard this. She was a little angry. What was Zhao Ping doing? Qin agreed to stay in Qin Yuan and kindly took them in. But Zhao Ping, or didn't she know that she was living under someone else's roof? Did she really think of this place as her own home? It was fine if she was a little arrogant outside, but when she stayed in someone else's house, she acted like a tyrant. Now, she actually liked to work for Mu Hin. Zhao Yun had already imagined the scene of Zhao Ping ordering Mu Hin to work. She knew that Zhao Ping was unhappy with Mu Hin because of Ma Xiaofeng. This time, she asked Mu Hin to stew longan and red dates, so she definitely didn't have a good attitude. Mu Hin's personality was relatively soft, and she was always modest. Even if Zhao Ping went overboard, Mu Hin definitely wouldn't take issue with Zhao Ping, but that didn't mean that Zhao Yun didn't take issue with it. Zhao Yun held Mu Hin's hand and asked, Did she order you to do this? Seeing Zhao Yun's gloomy face, Mu Hin was slightly shocked. She was afraid that Zhao Yun would quarrel with Zhao Ping, because of her. She felt that it wasn't worth it. After all, she had only been married for a day. If the third branch quarreled and had conflicts because of her, she would feel uncomfortable. This would make her feel that she was a troublemaker and that everything was because of her. When faced with Zhao Yun's question, Mu Hin said gently, Sister Yun, it's just stewing longan and red dates. It's not a big deal. Although it was indeed, as Mu Hin had said, this was just a small matter, the significance was different. Then she must have ordered you to do it. This Zhao Ping. Zhao Yun clenched her fists, making cracking sounds. She gritted her teeth and prepared to find Zhao Ping, to settle the score. Mu Hin hurriedly stopped Zhao Yun. Sister Yuner, it's just a small matter. You don't have to look for Sister Pinger. Forget it. I can't let this go. I have to let her know who has the final say in this family. If she can't recognize her position here, then she doesn't need to stay here anymore. Xian, don't stop me. You have to know that with Zhao Ping Er's character, there will be a second time after the first time. The more you give in to her, the angrier she will be. In order to prevent her from continuing to bully you, you have to settle the score when it's time. Ignoring Mu Hin's obstruction, Zhao Yuner directly rushed into Qin Yuan's house. Mu Hin could only follow behind Zhao Yuner anxiously. She was worried that Zhao Ping would misunderstand that she had deliberately said bad things in front of Zhao Yuner. If she had known this would happen, she wouldn't have replied to Zhao Yuner like that. After hesitating for a few seconds, Mu Hin hurriedly followed after her. The moment they entered Qin Yuan's house, Zhao Yuner coldly called out Zhao Ping Er's name. Zhao Ping looked up unhappily. Zhao Yuner, what are you shouting for? Can't you see that my big brother Yuan is injured and needs to recuperate? Then come out. Zhao Ping was afraid that Zhao Yuner would disturb Qin Yuan. Qin Yuan unwillingly followed Zhao Yuner out of the house. Zhao Yuner, did you eat a firecracker? Why are you looking for me with such a huge temper? Zhao Ping asked in annoyance. However, just as she spoke, Zhao Yuner slapped Zhao Ping hard across the face. She only heard a slap. After a few seconds of sluggishness, she recalled Zhao Ping Er's shrill scream. Chapter 23:12. Zhao Yuner, have you been bitten by a mad dog? Why are you making trouble for me again? What have I done? Aren't you being too much of a bully? She slapped me for no reason. If it weren't for the fact that Qin Yuan had to stay with the third branch, based on Zhao Ping Er's temper, she would have rushed up and fought with Zhao Yuner. She was being too much of a bully for no reason. At this moment, her face was burning with pain. Zhao Ping couldn't help but worry about her face. She was already ugly enough. Now that her face was swollen from the slap, wouldn't it become even uglier? Why am I making trouble for you? Don't you know it in your heart? Zhao Yun replied unhappily. Know what? Zhao Ping was a little confused. When did she provoke Zhao Yun? This time, it was clearly out of the blue. You don't know what you've done? Zhao Yun, if you have something to say, just say it. Don't beat around the bush. I don't know what you're talking about either. All right, since you don't know, I'll tell you. I want to ask, who gave you the right to order Mu Hin around? Zhao Yun's eyes had a hint of sharpness. Zhao Ping was stunned and said with disdain, she's Tianan's daughter-in-law, and I'm Tianan's older sister. As the eldest sister, can't I order my younger sister-in-law around? She's a woman who married into our family. If she doesn't work for us, should we treat her like an ancestor? Zhao Yun, even if this matter is brought up in front of others, I'm not necessarily unreasonable. Why do you have to slap me because of this? Aren't you going too far? Haha, who do you think you are? Zhao Ping, father and mother don't want to have anything to do with you. We're taking you and Qin Yuan in now. Please understand your position in this family. You're just a married woman. You don't have the right to meddle in the family's affairs. Moreover, you and the Qin Yuan are both living under someone else's roof, so you'd better behave yourselves. If you say that you're making me unhappy, I'll tell you to scram right now. When Mu Hin marries into our family, you can let her serve her in-laws and take good care of her husband. But you don't have the qualifications to work for an outsider. If there's a next time, you know the consequences. Zhao Yun said with a serious face and gave Zhao Ping a warning look. Zhao Ping was very unhappy, but she was shocked by Zhao Yun's words. Zhao Yun understood Zhao Ping's temperament. She meant what she said, and she was very ruthless. If he was really kicked out by Zhao Yun, how could Qin Yuan's body take it? For the sake of Qin Yuan, even if Zhao Ping felt wronged, she still gritted her teeth and endured it. After seeing Zhao Ping tactfully nod her head, Zhao Yun restrained her anger and let Zhao Ping go. Because of this, Zhao Ping hated Mu Hin even more. It must be this TCH who ran to Zhao Yun to complain. Zhao Tianin must be blind to marry such a woman. Zhao Ping suppressed the anger in her heart and returned to Qin Yuan's room. Qin Yuan heard the conversation outside the room just now. When he saw the slap mark on Zhao Ping's face, he felt a touch of pain in his heart. He knew that Zhao Ping was wrong because of him. In his heart, he felt even more guilty towards Zhao Ping. If it weren't for them living under someone else's roof, how could they tolerate Zhao Yun'er's rampant behavior? Sigh, what could they do? Chapter 23:13. Qin Yuan reached out and touched Zhao Ping's face. He asked with concern, "Ping, does your face hurt a lot?" Zhao Ping was slightly stunned. She raised her head and glanced at Qin Yuan. This was the first time she saw Big Brother Yuan being so concerned about her. Moreover, he was speaking to her so softly. It was completely different from before. It was precisely because of this that Zhao Ping felt flattered. This was because Qin Yuan was something she did not dare to hope for. Meeting Qin Yuan's eyes, Zhao Ping bit her lower lip. She then shook her head and said, "Big Brother Yuan, don't worry. It doesn't hurt. It's just a slap. It's okay." Zhao Ping was afraid that Qin Yuan would be worried about her, so she deliberately said that it was okay. Actually, she was already very satisfied that Qin Yuan could speak to her so gently and be so concerned about her. How could she bear to let Qin Yuan worry about her again? Looking at Zhao Ping's appearance, he sighed and said, "Ping, how can it not hurt? Half of your face is swollen." Sigh, it's all my fault. I've implicated you. If we weren't living under someone else's roof, how could we have endured such grievances? Ping, I'm really useless. I'm really not a man. As Qin Yuan said this, a look of frustration appeared on his face. Zhao Ping hurriedly held Qin Yuan's hand and said to Qin Yuan, "Big Brother Yuan, don't say that. This has nothing to do with you. You're injured, so we have to recuperate properly. Zhao Yun is arrogant, so let her be for now. As long as your injury recovers, as long as Big Brother Yuan is fine, everything will be worth it." Qin Yuan did not know how to describe his current feelings. Looking at Zhao Ping in front of him, Qin Yuan only felt that Zhao Ping was a foolish woman. Because he had treated her so well in the past, why did she continue to do so much for him without hesitation? Other than his face being slightly fairer, what other part of him was worthy of being treated well? The more Qin Yuan thought about it, the more guilty he felt. He swore to himself that he would never betray Zhao Ping in this life. Otherwise, he wouldn't be a human anymore. Ping, don't say that. Other than taking care of me, you should also take care of yourself. You're pregnant. We have to take good care of our child. I hope you can give birth to a chubby boy for me this time. Qin Yuan looked at Zhao Ping with even more warmth in his eyes. Zhao Ping was so excited that she almost cried. She didn't expect that Qin Yuan would still talk to her. Because ever since she got pregnant, Qin Yuan refused to admit that the child in her belly was his. He kept saying that she was pregnant with her stupid brother's child. Now, not only did he admit it, but he also told her to take good care of herself. Zhao Ping felt that the world was changing too quickly. Qin Yuan's sincerity made her feel that all her previous efforts were worth it. Yes, Big Brother Yuan, I know. It's only been a few months, so it won't be a problem. I'll have to be more careful when I'm pregnant and can't move freely. Right now, the most important thing is to take care of your injuries. Zhao Ping smiled and replied to Qin Yuan. The redness and swelling on her face didn't hurt that much anymore. Perhaps it was because her heart was sweet, so she could ignore everything else. Zhao Ping felt that she had benefited a lot from the exposure of Qin Yuan and Zhao Xinhui's relationship. At least through this incident, Qin Yuan could see clearly what kind of person her aunt was, and Qin Yuan returned to her side. Chapter 23:14. She had to buy some things for Ma Xiaofeng when she got back so that she could give Xiaofeng a good makeover. At the thought of Ma Xiaofeng, Zhao Ping recalled what Ma Xiaofeng had said to her previously. Ma Xiaofeng had said that she could ask a famous doctor in Yang City to see if he could remove the birthmark on her face. If she could remove the birthmark and whiten her skin, she might not become a great beauty, but she could at least be as delicate and pretty as Ma Xiaofeng. Although Qin Yuan had accepted her and wanted to live a good life with her, she still felt a little inferior. But Zhao Pinger still felt inferior. When she stood next to Qin Yuan, she felt that her face was not good enough for Qin Yuan. Only when she became beautiful and not as ugly as she was now would they look more compatible when she stood next to Qin Yuan. Moreover, there was still a long way to go. Everything was still unknown. Qin Yuan had just been injured and was lying in bed, unable to move. In the end, she had stayed by his side to take care of him. He was only willing to live a good life with her because he was touched. Who knew whether or not Qin Yuan would slowly forget what he had said today after he had recovered from his injuries? If he met those good-looking and seductive little vixens again, wouldn't Qin Yuan be seduced by them again? After all men liked beautiful women. Just in case, she had to make herself as beautiful as those women outside. Only then would she not have to worry about Qin Yuan being snatched away. Big brother Yuan, I plan to go to Yang City to see a doctor in a few days. Qin Yuan was slightly taken aback. He hurriedly asked with concern, Pinger, are you feeling unwell? Zhao Ping hurriedly shook her head. No, I'm going to have my face looked at. My face looks like this. If the doctor sees it, he might be able to treat me. In the past, I didn't have money, so I had no choice. Now that I have money, I want to see if my face can be treated. Qin Yuan nodded when he heard that. He knew that women loved beauty very much. Zhao Ping was no exception. Moreover, Zhao Ping was born ugly. Nowadays, no woman would be able to stand having such a face. Qin Yuan was very supportive of Zhao Pinger's plan. He nodded and said, Okay, Pinger, go ahead. Do whatever you want to do. I support you. Zhao Ping was very touched. She nodded heavily and replied, In. Big brother Yuan, you're so nice. While Zhao Pinger and Qin Yuan were whispering sweet nothings to each other in the room, Zhao Yuner went to Mu Hin and told Mu Hin, Xin, if Zhao Pinger dares to bully you or order you around again, you have to learn how to refuse, okay? If she does this again, you have to tell me. Mu Hin nodded in response. At this moment, she felt a little guilty in her heart. Because Zhao Pinger was slapped by Zhao Yuner, she reckoned that Zhao Pinger hated her to death in her heart now, sigh. She reckoned that there was no way to mend her relationship with Zhao Pinger. It was still fine if Zhao Pinger was not her elder sister. A person who was unrelated to her did not care whether their relationship was good or bad. With this layer of relationship with Zhao Yuner, it was better to maintain a good relationship with her so that everyone would feel comfortable in their hearts. In the next few days, Zhao Pinger was more well-behaved. She knew that she was living under someone else's roof and knew her place. Basically, she did everything herself. At old Zhao's house, Zhao Xinhui finally woke up on the third day. Hu Chunhua and Zhao Baoshan both heaved a sigh of relief. If they waited any longer and Zhao Xinhui still did not wake up, they reckoned that they would really have to pay with their lives. Chapter 23:15. Yili was quite skilled. His kung fu was even better than Mu Lianfeng's. Dao worshipped Yili a lot and asked Yili to teach him kung fu all day long. Yili was very patient. Even though Dao was only a few years old, he didn't look down on Dao at all. In Yili's words, it was a good thing to practice kung fu from a young age. Also, Dao had a good physique and was very suitable for practicing kung fu. Previously, Yili taught Dao some kung fu. Because Dao was too young, he didn't learn very quickly. After Dao digested the kung fu, Yili would teach him another kung fu. She saw how Yili treated Dao and doted on him like he was his own son. Zhao Yuner couldn't help but want Dao to acknowledge Yili as his godfather. It would be good for her child to have another father to dote on him. She could tell that Yili liked Dao a lot and was very responsible. During the time that Yili lived at Zhao Yuner's house, the biggest benefit that Zhao Yuner felt was that they could eat wild game from time to time. Because Yili was skilled, he had to go to the mountains often, and he could bring back some wild game every time he went. Sometimes it was wild rabbits, sometimes it was pheasants, sometimes it was deer. These things might not be available even with money. especially in the countryside. If they wanted to eat meat, they had to go to town or Yang City to buy it. It was very inconvenient. The wild game that Yili brought back made it so that they didn't have to buy meat at all. On this day, Dowda tugged at Yi Li's hand and looked up at Yi Li with his cute little face. Uncle Yi, are we going to mountains today? Can we bring Dowdu with us? Yi Li looked down at the cute little bun and smiled. Dowda wants to go to the mountains? Yes, I want to go. There's nothing to play at home. It's so boring. Let's go for a walk in the mountains. While he was at it, he would also look for his father. He's not home all day long. Yi Li thought for a moment and nodded. All right then. Since Dowda wants to go, Uncle Yi will accompany Dowdu up the mountain. Although it was a little dangerous on the mountain, Yi Li was pretty good at fighting. Even if he encountered any wild beasts, he could deal with them alone. Although Mu Yinfeng was good at fighting, he was not as good as Yi Li, who had undergone professional training. Mu Yinfeng might not be able to deal with a fierce white tiger, but Yi Li did not take it seriously at all. With Yi Li's protection, nothing would happen to Dowdu on the mountain. Zhao Yun'er felt more at ease handing Dowdu over to Yi Li. Dowdu was very excited when he heard Yi Li nod in agreement. Uncle Yi is so nice. Let's go. Yi Li held a knife and a bow in his hands as he held Dowdu's hand and walked up the mountain. He brought the bow with him so that Dowdu could practice and see if he could catch prey. He had taught Dowdu archery before, but he practiced at home and could not test his true skills. It was only through hunting that he could train better. Yi Li agreed to bring Dowdu up the mountain so easily, not only to let Dowdu have some fun, but also to train Dowdu's archery skills. Before they set off, Yi Li informed Zhao Yun'er so that she would not be anxious if she did not see Dowdu and Zhao Yun'er. After a while, the two of them walked up the mountain and slowly disappeared into the forest. Dowdu looked around excitedly along the way. Yi Li led the way in front to prevent Dowdu from tripping or getting stabbed by the thorns along the way. Chapter 23:16. Fortunately, Dowdu was also very brave and strong. Although he was small in size, after learning martial arts from him for a period of time, his movements had become a lot more nimble. He walked very steadily, unlike a child who was only a few years old. The two of them walked towards the depths of the mountains. Along the way, Yi Li taught Dowdu how to identify all kinds of herbs. He taught Dowdu everything he recognized. Dowdu had a very good memory. Basically, he could remember everything Yi Li taught him once or twice. Shuh! Yi Li suddenly heard movement. He stopped in his tracks and made a shushing gesture to Dowdu. Dowdu nodded. After a while, the two of them discovered a plump rabbit emerging from the bushes. Yi Li immediately handed the bow in his hand to Dowdu and said to Dowdu, "Come, this is a good opportunity for you to practice. See if you can hit those rabbits." Dowdu took the bow in Yi Li's hand and nodded heavily. According to what Yi Li had taught before, he pulled the crossbow and shot an arrow in the direction of the hare with his eyes like a torch. However, Dowdu was only a few years old after all. He couldn't use too much strength, so the power of the bow was a little weak. Fortunately, the rabbit wasn't too far away. Dowdu's arrow finally hit the rabbit's body. The rabbit fell to the ground after being hit. Blood began to flow out of the wounds on its body. "I hit it," Dowdu cheered. Then, he looked at Yi Li, waiting for Yi Li's praise. When Yi Li saw this, a satisfied smile appeared on his face. He patted Dowdu's head and said exaggeratedly, "Dowdu is awesome." Dowdu's little face also overflowed with a happy smile. This success greatly boosted Dowdu's confidence. He felt a sense of pride in his heart. Yi Li walked towards the rabbit and picked it up. He would bring it home and give it to Zhao Yun'er. It would be another dish to go with wine. Yi Li felt that the happiest thing about living in Zhao Yun'er's house was to enjoy the leisure time here. He could often see Zhao Yun'er and eat Zhao Yun'er's cooking. To him, this was a kind of happiness that he didn't dare to ask for in the past. Even though he knew that Zhao Yun'er liked Mu Yinfeng and that she was with Mu Yinfeng, he was still very happy. In his opinion, it was fine as long as Zhao Yun'er was happy. During these days at Zhao Yun'er's house, Yi Li came into contact with Zhao Yun'er's life. He saw Mu Yinfeng's love for Zhao Yun'er and knew that there was another man who loved Zhao Yun'er as deeply as she did. Yili was relieved to hand her over to him. He just needed to quietly protect Zhao Yun'er's happiness. Let's go. Let's continue looking and see if we can hunt more game back. Daodu is awesome today. I believe we can hunt more game. Yili encouraged Daodu. Daodu nodded heavily. He couldn't wait to continue trying his hand. The two of them walked deeper into the mountains for a while. Suddenly, they heard the roar of a tiger. Yili's brows furrowed together, and he became more vigilant. He hurriedly held Daodu in his arms. If the tiger rushed out, Daodu wouldn't be hurt. The tiger's roar was getting closer and closer. Amidst the tiger's roar, they heard a miserable cry. Yili's first reaction was that someone was attacked by a tiger. He had to go take a look so that he could save them. Yili first carried Daodu to a thick black tree trunk and told Daodu not to move and to wait for him to come back. After all, tigers were dangerous creatures. He had to ensure Daodu's safety first. Chapter 23:17. When he was about to reach the tiger, from afar, he saw a few people confronting the tiger. These people were not dressed simply. From their clothes, he could tell that they were at least the children of wealthy families. The people in front of the tiger were wearing black brocade clothes and holding swords in their hands. They were very vigilant as they confronted the tiger. The person behind them was wearing bright yellow clothes. The cloth and embroidery on it showed different reactions. Moreover, this person had a different aura. Those people in black brocade clothes were obviously protecting the man in yellow clothes behind them. However, Yili did not think too much. The identity of these people was not important. What was important was that the tiger hurt people. The tiger opened its mouth and roared at those people. The tiger's roar spread through the forest. After roaring, the tiger pounced on those people. However, it was blocked by the people in black brocade clothes with long swords. However, they were still no match for the tiger. They could only keep retreating. The yellow-clothed man furrowed his brows tightly. Cold sweat oozed out his forehead. Although they were not in danger for the time being, the tiger was indeed difficult to deal with. After the tiger roared, it was already difficult to deal with one tiger. Who knew that another tiger would appear in the forest? Although these people in black brocade robes were very skilled, it was still very strenuous for them to face these two behemoths. The people in black brocade clothes were divided into two groups and dealt with the two tigers separately. One of them could not hold on any longer. Just as the tiger almost pounced on the man in yellow, Yili leaped and slashed at the tiger with his long sword. His movements were nimble, but there was a ruthlessness in his actions. He did not hesitate to kill the tiger. His long sword pierced the tiger's vitals. The tiger fell to the ground in pain. Yili immediately pulled his long sword out of the tiger's body. The long sword pierced the tiger's eyes. The tiger lay on the ground and struggled. After a while, it stopped moving. The other tiger was also killed by the people in black brocade clothes. The man in yellow was still in shock. Then, he looked at Yili in front of him. If Yili had not acted in time, he might have been bitten by the tiger. Therefore, he was very grateful to Yili. A few men in black robes surrounded the man in yellow nervously. Then, one of them pointed his sword at Yili and asked coldly, "Who are you?" Because Yili's sudden appearance was too strange, they questioned Yili. If there was anything wrong with Yili, they had to deal with this man. The man in yellow also looked at Yili curiously. It was really hard to understand how a person like Yili, who was so skilled in kung fu, could be found in such a remote place. It would be better for them to be more cautious. Who knew if this person was here to assassinate him? Yili was a little unhappy between her eyebrows. He had clearly helped them get rid of the tiger and save the yellow-clothed man from injury. In the end, not only did this group of people not appreciate his kindness, they even questioned him like this. Yili was not a very good-tempered person. He snorted, "Is this how you treat your savior? Tell us who you are. Otherwise, who would know why you saved him?" Chapter 23:18. However, when Yili saw the two tigers lying on the ground, he realized that it didn't take him much effort. The tiger's entire body was a treasure. He would bring them down the mountain and give them to Zhao Yun'er later. The tiger's fur could be kept or sold for quite a bit of money. With Zhao Yun'er's cooking skills, the tiger meat would definitely become a delicacy. The tiger's penis could be sold for medicine. Cough, cough. It would be good to use it to boost Mu Lianfeng's stamina and let Zhao Yun'er have more sexual bliss. The tigers could be soaked in medicine. The other parts of the tiger's body could also be kept and sold. In short, this trip was worth it. For the sake of the tigers, he decided not to bicker with these people. Thus, he squatted down and carried one of the tigers. It didn't take much effort to carry something that weighed 1 to 200 caddies up the mountain with Yili. However, it was a little troublesome to carry 2 tigers down the mountain at the same time. After all, Yili still had to take care of Dowda later. He could only carry 1 tiger for now and leave the other one for later on the mountain. However, Yili's actions puzzled the man in black and the yellow-clothed gentleman. Could this person's goal be the 2 tigers? Nothing else? When a yellow-clothed gentleman saw Yi Li's arrogant attitude, he sized him up a little more. He could tell that Yi Li didn't have any enmity towards them. He was indeed here to save him. Thus, he walked forward and smiled at Yi Li. Young hero, I'm sorry. My guards were too rude. I apologize to you here. I hope you can forgive them. Also, thank you for your help just now. Otherwise, I might have really been injured by the tigers. Young hero, is there anything you would like to give me as a token of my gratitude? Yi Li glanced at the yellow-clothed gentleman indifferently and said in an indifferent tone, "No need." After saying that, he proudly carried the tigers and walked forward. The leader of the group, a man in a black brocade robe, said to Yi Li angrily, "Don't be rude to our master." The yellow-clothed young master gestured with his hand. "This young hero is my savior. Tomorrow night, you are the one who is being rude." "Yes," Mingyu replied. Yi Li still couldn't be bothered to deal with these people. He didn't even stop and continued walking forward. When they reached the tree where Dowdu was, Yi Li first carried Dowdu down from the tree. Then, he carried the tiger and carried Dowdu down the mountain. Dowdu's eyes lit up when he saw Yi Li kill the tiger. He looked at Yi Li excitedly and said to Yi Li, "Uncle Yi, you're amazing. I actually hunted a tiger. Mother will definitely be very happy when she sees this." Yi Li touched Dowdu's head lovingly. Then, he blinked and said, "Not just one. There's another one. Let's go down the mountain now and send this tiger home. Later, we'll go up the mountain and bring the other one back." The smile on Dowdu's little face became wider. He nodded heavily and looked at Yi Li with admiration. Uncle Yi was really amazing. Ordinary people had to put in a lot of effort and risk to hunt a tiger. However, Uncle Yi killed the tiger in a few moves. It was really amazing. In Dowdu's heart, Yi Li was already his hero and idol. Other than his father, Yi Li was the most powerful man in his heart. Chapter 23:19. Let's go. Yi Li found the little bun's infatuated gaze to be a little funny, so he gently patted Dowdu's head and called out to him. After all, it would take a lot of effort to climb up the mountain later, so Yi Li didn't want to drag things out too late. Dowdu nodded heavily, then followed Yi Li down the mountain. After Yi Li turned to leave, the yellow-clothed gentleman narrowed his eyes slightly, as if he was thinking about something. Mingyu walked up and said to the yellow-clothed gentleman, "Your Majesty." That person just now was very skilled, so he's clearly not an ordinary person. We don't know if he has any ulterior motives this time, so we have to be careful. This yellow-clothed gentleman was the current emperor. This time, he came to Yang City again to discuss political matters with Mu Lianfeng face-to-face, and, at the same time, to investigate whether Mu Lianfeng was sincerely working for him during this period of time. After secretly investigating, the emperor confirmed that Mu Lianfeng had been working for him earnestly during this period of time and didn't do anything he shouldn't have done. Only then did he truly accept Mu Lianfeng in his heart. He was naturally suspicious, so he would consider many things before using people. Only when he confirmed that there was nothing wrong with this person and that this person was completely loyal to him would he dare to entrust everything to him. Suppressing the unrest at the border fortress was very important. So he had to confirm that Mu Yinfeng was truly loyal to him. Otherwise, he would have to hand this matter over to someone else. Fortunately, Mu Yinfeng didn't disappoint him, and he now had one more person he could use. Hearing Ming Ye's words, the emperor smiled faintly, and his eyes darkened. He shouldn't have any ulterior motives. Your Majesty, why are you so sure? Ming Yi didn't understand. In any case, he felt that this matter was too strange. Who would come into this deep mountain for no reason? Just when the emperor was in danger, Yili suddenly intervened and saved the emperor's life. This was too much of a coincidence, so much so that it made people feel that something was wrong. There was a meaningful smile on the emperor's lips. He curled his lips and replied in a playful tone, "Zhen's intuition." Ming Ye's mouth twitched. When did the emperor start joking with them? Women talked about intuition all day long. How could the emperor judge things based on intuition? He felt that something was wrong, but it was always a good thing to be more careful. Just in case Yili had any ulterior motives, it would be better to take precautions. All right, let's go. The emperor's tone became a lot more relaxed. He called a few of his subordinates to go down the mountain and find Mu Lianfeng to discuss political matters. Yes, after Yili carried the tiger down the mountain, the villagers heard about it and all rushed over to watch the fun. Previously, Zhao Yun'er's family got a tiger, which was very shocking. They didn't expect to get another one this time. Zhao Yun'er was also a little dumbfounded when she saw Yili carry the tiger back. Wasn't this man a little too valiant? It was just a trip up the mountain. How could he bring back a tiger so casually? Yun'er, do as you see fit with this tiger. I'll skin it later, and I'll leave the rest to you. Then you can have a meal of tiger meat tonight. There's still another one on the mountain, so I'll go and carry it back. After placing the tiger on the ground, Yili had Zhao Yun'er greet him. Chapter 23:20. Zhao Yun'er was secretly shocked. She only felt that Yi Li's skills were really too heaven-defying. Killing a tiger was as easy as killing a chicken. It was too easy. After being shocked for a while, Zhao Yun'er finally came back to her senses and nodded at Yili. Yili smiled, then turned around and continued walking up the mountain. Meanwhile, quite a number of people had gathered in Zhao Yun'er's courtyard. They were all pointing at the tiger on the ground and discussing it. Aya, who is this person? He's too amazing. He actually killed a tiger. All right, I remember that this person lived with old Zhao's third branch for a long time. What's his relationship with the third branch? Originally, Yili lived with Zhao Yun'er's family. Other than his good looks, he didn't attract much attention. Although Yili was beautiful, Mu Yinfeng was also very handsome. Moreover, Mu Yinfeng was the heir apparent. With Mu Yinfeng in front of him, Yili attracted a lot less attention. Most of the time, Yili wouldn't easily show his face in public. He didn't want to cause trouble for Zhao Yun'er's family when he came out for a stroll. Even when Zhao Yun'er's family held a banquet, Yili purposely left so that no one could see him. This was because he knew that the entire village would attend the banquet. If he showed up, he would naturally attract a lot of attention. This time, because Yili had hunted a tiger and carried such an eye-catching animal back, it was difficult for everyone not to notice him, even if they didn't want to. After one person asked, the others followed suit and said, "That's right. Who is this man? I didn't hear Sister Liang and the others mention him." Yun'er girl, what's your relationship with the man who carried the tiger just now? Faced with the villagers' questions, Zhao Yun'er vaguely replied, "My cousin, my mother's relatives, and your parents are all there. He came to stay with us for a while." After hearing Zhao Yun'er's reply, everyone nodded and continued to gossip about Yili. Don't say Yun'er's cousin is really handsome. I have never seen such a handsome young man in the surrounding villages. Isn't that so? You can't find anyone with such looks in the entire Yang city. Other than being good-looking, he's also very skilled. He actually hunted a tiger. How good do you think he is? Ayaya. If he can even bring back a tiger, then prey is nothing. If he often brings game back, who knows how much he can sell it for? Not to mention, he's handsome and knows how to earn money. I wonder if he's married. He's definitely not married. If he's married, it's impossible for him to come to Sister Liang's place. That's true. It's a pity that his parents are dead. Otherwise, I have a daughter at home. I want to marry my daughter to him. This young man is not bad. He's very capable. Now that you mention it, I also have a daughter at home who is of age to be married. It doesn't matter if his parents are dead, as long as he's capable of earning money. I want to take him back as a live-in son-in-law. Indeed, he's not bad. Wouldn't we be lucky to have such a live-in son-in-law? Everything else aside, wouldn't the treasures on a tiger be worth dozens or hundreds of taels of silver? That's right. Let's ask Mrs. Liang then. The villagers were very interested in Yi Li, especially after seeing Yi Li's abilities. Those who had daughters at home couldn't wait to take Yi Li as a live-in son-in-law. Chapter 23-21. They knew that Yi Li was capable and could make money, so they wanted to give their daughter to him. How could there be such a good deal in this world? Not to mention Yi Li's ability, there were not many women who could match up to his looks. He was too handsome. If not for the fact that he was a beauty, there would be a lot of pressure standing next to Yi Li. However, the villagers could only talk about it. With Yi Li's personality, he would definitely not be interested in the daughters of these villagers. After the villagers finished their discussion, they gathered in front of Liang Jinxiao. They hoped that Liang Jinxiao, as an elder, could make the decision and help Yi Li get married. Liang Jinxiao was helpless. Zhao Yuner had only casually mentioned Yi Li's identity to stop the rumors. She was not Yi Li's real elder. How could she make the decision for Yi Li's marriage? He could only answer the villagers vaguely. This child is quite independent. Although I'm an elder, it's not good for me to intervene in his marriage. If you really like this child, you can go and talk to him. He has to agree to this matter first. Zhao Yuner secretly shook her head and began to worry for Yi Li. Yi Li would probably have to endure the villagers' ravaging. It was just like the 21st century's ants urging people to get married. It was really annoying. She had already experienced it in her previous life. She knew how it felt to live a life worse than death. Putting the villagers aside, Zhao Yuner stared at the tiger on the ground. Such a big tiger would be able to have a good meal tonight and make a table full of meat. She could cut some of the meat and send some to Mulan. Old Zhao's family could also send a few caddies. If she couldn't finish the rest, she could just marinate it with salt. When she wanted to eat it, she could eat the marinated tiger meat. It tasted pretty good. She could keep some tiger bones for wine and give the rest to others. The most valuable and precious thing was the tiger penis. Thinking about the tiger penis's effect, Zhao Yuner's cheeks began to blush. She was a little embarrassed. With Mu Yinfeng's physical strength, why would he need such a thing? She was already tormented enough every night. If he used the tiger's penis, wouldn't he torment her to death day and night? Last time, she and Mu Yinfeng brought back the tiger's penis. Until now, she still hadn't used it and kept it at home. This time, she got 2 tigers and 2 more. She could consider giving them away or selling them. One of them should be able to sell for a good price. After all, the rarer something was, the more valuable it was, and there were many men in ancient times who had this problem. As long as it could be cured, rich people would be willing to pay any price. Later on, she would look around and see who could pay a high price to sell the 2 tiger penises. More and more people came back to Zhao Yuner's house. They were all here to watch the tiger. Many people wanted to eat tiger meat, but they also knew Zhao Yuner's temperament. Unless she was willing to give it to them, ordinary people wouldn't be able to get it. They could only watch from the side. After a while, they slowly dispersed. Zhao Yuner's house also slowly regained its peace. Not long after, Yi Li came back from the mountain carrying another tiger. Zhao Yuner hurriedly called Yi Li to come down and take a breath. There was no hurry to deal with the tiger. Mother, Uncle Yi is so powerful today. He directly killed 2 tigers. But I have good news to tell Mother. Chapter 23-22. Mom, this rabbit was hunted by Dowdu. Dowdu pointed at a wild rabbit lying on the ground. Zhao Yun looked surprised and asked, Really? Was it hunted by Dowdu? Yes. Dowdu nodded heavily. Zhao Yun was not stingy with her praise. She touched Dowdu's head and said with a smile, "Dowdu is great. You can give us more food tonight." Yes, Dowdu's little face was filled with a brighter smile. Zhao Yun found that Dowdu's ability was getting better and better under the guidance of Yi Li, a good master. He was much stronger than before. His archery skills could be used to hunt prey, which showed that he was not ordinary. If Dowdu could continue to learn from Yi Li, this child would be so powerful in the future. As a mother, she naturally hoped that her child would become better and better. Of course, the most important thing was to be happier and happier. Seeing the smile on Dowdu's little face, Zhao Yun knew that Dowdu was happy from the bottom of his heart. He really liked to learn from Yi Li. Yi Li drank a few bowls of water and squatted down in front of the tiger. He held a dagger in his hand and lowered his head to peel the tiger's skin. Yi Li was afraid that the tiger's skin would be damaged and lose its integrity, so he was very careful when he peeled it. His eyes were like torches. When he was serious, he was more handsome than usual. Zhao Yun couldn't help but sigh in her heart. How could there be such a good-looking boy? Because Yi Li squatted down, Zhao Yun could see Yi Li's trembling eyelashes. His eyelashes were very long, like 2 butterfly wings. Many girls envied this kind of eyelashes, and Zhao Yun was no exception. As if sensing Zhao Yun's gaze, Yi Li lifted his head and their eyes met. Zhao Yun turned her head away in embarrassment. Ahem! She couldn't help but be infatuated again. However, she didn't have any other intentions. She was simply admiring Yi Li's delay. Yi Li's cheeks also turned slightly red for a moment. Then, he lowered his head and continued to skin the tiger seriously. After spending a lot of effort, Yi Li peeled off the 2 tiger skins and put them on the drying pole to dry. Zhao Yun went to the kitchen to prepare dinner. Since there was tiger meat for dinner, he planned to roast it just like roast beef and mutton. There was still some cumin, chili powder, and sesame seeds at home. Zhao Yun first smeared some salt and sauce on the tiger meat, then skewered it on a wooden stick. Seeing Zhao Yun's preparations, Liang Jinxiao asked curiously, "Yun, how are we going to eat this tiger meat tonight? Why are you still using a stick to stick the meat?" Zhao Yun smiled and explained to Liang Jinxiao that they were going to roast the meat for dinner. However, this method of eating was too advanced and didn't exist in ancient times. After all, in a place like Shuilan village, they only grew crops and rarely ate meat. Naturally, they didn't know what roast meat was. Zhao Yun didn't continue to explain to Liang Jinxiao. She only told Liang Jinxiao that this was a novel way of eating and that they would know when they tried it later. After cooking the tiger meat, Zhao Yun moved out a table and prepared to eat it outside. She simply made a barbecue. She had forgotten how long it had been since she last had barbecue in this world. Since she remembered today, she wanted to use this opportunity to satisfy her cravings. She also asked Zhao Wenhua and Zhao Tianan to get some wood and used iron wire to make a simple barbecue stand. Chapter 23. The sky was a little dark, and it really felt good at this time. Everyone was eating barbecue around the fire, and it was really a different feeling. In addition to her own family, Zhao Yun also called Mulan's family over, and the courtyard was crowded with many people. Fortunately, there were many stools at home, and they formed a circle, so it didn't seem too crowded. It was the first time that everyone had seen this way of eating. It was actually worn on a wooden stick, and they didn't know what it would taste like. However, Zhao Yun's cooking had always been good, and she often made some novel ways of eating. Presumably, it would be the same this time. However, there was no doubt that Zhao Yun's cooking had always been very delicious, and there was no doubt about it this time. In the face of this kind of barbecue, everyone was looking forward to what it would taste like. Compared to the taste of barbecue, the atmosphere of eating barbecue seemed to be more enjoyable. Usually, the family rarely communicated, and they only gathered at the same table when eating. Now, they sat together before eating, chatting, and laughing, and it was very warm. The happiest were the few children. They had fewer activities on weekdays, and this time, they felt that it was novel and fun to eat barbecue together. Zhao Yun chatted and laughed with them while she was in charge of barbecuing the meat. Because of the cloth, when it was placed on the fire, the oil inside seeped out and it squeaked. After a while, there was a fragrant barbecue smell. The few children stared greedily at the barbecue in Zhao Yun'er's hands. Zhao Yun'er smiled and comforted them. "Don't worry, it will be ready in a while. We can eat barbecue soon." Okay. After about 5 minutes of barbecuing, seeing that the meat was almost cooked, Zhao Yun'er sprinkled cumin and sesame seeds on it. Because the children couldn't eat too spicy food, Zhao Yun didn't add chili powder. As for the adults, they could eat spicy food, so Zhao Yun added a little bit and adjusted it according to everyone's taste. There weren't many barbecued in the first round, but everyone got a skewer. When they bit into it, the fragrance of the meat spread in their mouths. Compared to the roasted pork and mutton of the 21st century, the roasted tiger meat had a different taste. After tasting the barbecued meat, the children shouted excitedly that it was delicious. Even the adults were nodding their heads and praising the taste. After hearing the praise, Zhao Yun'er became more confident and continued to cook. Although it took a while to bake, everyone sat together and chatted. Time passed quickly. Unknowingly, he had already eaten 3 rounds, but he didn't feel much of a difference in his stomach. However, after eating some, he felt a little thirsty. Zhao Yun'er suddenly thought of the green plum wine that she had brewed a few months ago, so she decided to bring it out. Children couldn't drink it, but adults could taste it. Compared to white wine, the alcohol content of fruit wine was relatively lower. The green plum wine had a special fragrance and tasted very good. With wine and meat, it was a different kind of enjoyment. While the family was eating and laughing together in the courtyard, reflecting the light of the fire, Mu Yinfeng accompanied the emperor down the mountain. Because it was too late, Mu Yinfeng prepared to arrange for the emperor to stay at Zhao Yun'er's house. The two people had just walked into old Zhao's courtyard when they heard the laughter in the courtyard from afar. It seemed very lively. The emperor had a smile on his face and was a little curious about what had happened. Life in the countryside was really different from life in the imperial palace. Chapter 23-24. The aroma of this meat was very peculiar, and the emperor had never smelled it before. There were delicacies from all over the country in the imperial kitchen, but there were still many that he had never tasted before. Tempted by this fragrant aroma, the emperor couldn't help but sniff. When he saw everyone sitting together, chatting and laughing as if they were drinking and chatting merrily, he became even more curious. Thus, he asked Mu Yinfeng, who was standing beside him, "Mu Aiqing, what are they doing?" Mu Yinfeng was also a little confused by the situation in front of him, because he had never experienced something like this before. He didn't know what new thing Zhao Yun'er had come up with, but he could never keep up with Zhao Yun'er's pace. Sometimes, he really wanted to crack open Zhao Yun'er's skull to see where she came up with these bizarre ideas. Faced with the emperor's question, Mu Yinfeng lowered his head and replied with some embarrassment, "Replying, Your Majesty, this subject also doesn't know." "Oh, is that so? This is even more interesting." The emperor's lips curled into a playful smile. Then he walked towards the bonfire. Mu Yinfeng hurried to keep up with the emperor's pace. As soon as he saw Mu Yinfeng return, Daodu's little face was instantly filled with smiles. He ran over to Mu Yinfeng and sweetly called out to Mu Yinfeng, "Daddy." Mu Yinfeng replied as he dotingly rubbed Daodu's head. He had been so busy recently that he didn't have much time to accompany his son, so he felt a little apologetic. Daodu pulled Mu Yinfeng's hand and said, "Daddy, come over quickly. Mother is making roasted meat for us to eat." "Daddy, it's delicious. You should also try it later." Mu Yinfeng nodded. Only then did he realize that Zhao Yun'er was making roasted meat. As for what kind of meat it was, Mu Yinfeng didn't think too much about it. When Daodu saw the emperor standing beside Mu Yinfeng, he raised his head to look at the emperor, then curiously asked Mu Yinfeng, "Daddy, who is this?" Mu Yinfeng glanced at the emperor, conflicted about how to answer Daodu. Before Mu Yinfeng could answer, the emperor smiled at Daodu and introduced himself. "Just call me Uncle Huang." Daodu very politely greeted the emperor, "Uncle Huang." Seeing Dao Du, who was so polite and well-educated, coupled with her soft and cute appearance, the emperor's smile deepened. He seemed to like Dao Du a little. Good. Mu Yin Feng Moses Mu Yin Feng cupped his hands. Thank you for your praise, your majesty. No problem. At this moment, Zhao Yun'er, who was roasting meat, looked at Mu Yinfeng and the emperor. When she saw the emperor's familiar face, Zhao Yun'er was slightly surprised. She didn't expect the emperor to come to Yang City again. Zhao Yun'er hurriedly got up and wanted to bow to the emperor, but the emperor hurriedly gave her a look to stop her. Zhao Yun'er understood the emperor's meaning. As the current emperor, his identity was a bit shocking, so he couldn't casually reveal it. If too many people knew, it would only put the emperor in more danger. Since he was visiting incognito, it meant that he didn't want others to know his identity. However, facing the current emperor, Zhao Yun'er still felt a lot of pressure. Because she didn't know why the emperor was here this time, but she was sure that he wouldn't come here for no reason. The emperor's thoughts were deep, and he wasn't a simple character. Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but worry. She secretly prayed that nothing would happen. Chapter 23-25. Zhao Yun'er did not dare to neglect the emperor, the most powerful man in the world. She replied, "It's barbecued meat. Young Master Huang might not have eaten it before." The emperor's smile carried a hint of inquiry. He raised his eyebrows and asked, "Is that so? Can I have a taste too?" How could Zhao Yun'er refuse? She nodded and beckoned the emperor over. "Young Master Huang, come and sit. There are too many people here. I hope young Master Huang doesn't mind. It's a good thing that there are more people. It just so happens that I also want to join in the fun." The emperor seemed to be in a good mood. Previously, when he was in the imperial palace, he could not find anyone even if he wanted to join the fun because of his status as the emperor. Moreover, because of his identity as the emperor, the people around him were all trembling with fear, as if they were walking on thin ice. They were afraid that they would say something wrong, offend him, and bring disaster to themselves. How many people were willing to speak their mind to him? There were many people who flattered him, but not a single one treated him sincerely and was willing to get along with him like a friend. The more time passed, the more lonely he felt. Perhaps this was the so-called "it's lonely at the top." The emperors of ancient times all claimed to be lonely. Indeed, after reaching this position, the emperor felt an unprecedented sense of loneliness. He could not enjoy the companionship in the imperial palace. He came out incognito and did not let others know his identity. Naturally, others would not feel so restrained when interacting with him. Thinking of this, the emperor couldn't wait to chat with Zhao Yun'er's family, laugh a few words, and feel the liveliness. Zhao Yun'er also smiled and nodded, then beckoned the emperor to sit down. It was good that the emperor did not reveal his identity. At least the others would not feel awkward and uncomfortable sitting there. If Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenwan knew of the emperor's identity, they would be so scared that they would kneel on the ground. Her parents were very timid. They were so reserved in front of Mu Yinfeng. If they were in front of the emperor, they would tremble with fear and probably not even dare to breathe loudly. It was estimated that the originally lively atmosphere would have to come to a halt. Mulan had seen the emperor before, but she didn't know who he was. After seeing the emperor, she greeted him with a smile. "Young Master Huang, you actually came? What a coincidence." The emperor also smiled at Mulan. "Yes, what a coincidence." The emperor originally had a smile on his face, but when he saw Yi Li sitting in the middle of the crowd, he froze and was a little surprised. He did not expect Yi Li to know Zhao Yun'er. In that case, there was nothing suspicious about Yi Li's identity. He probably wasn't here to assassinate him. It seemed that his intuition was quite accurate. Thinking of Yi Li's kung fu, the emperor admired Yi Li even more. This young man's kung fu was too powerful, even more powerful than the guard around him. It had to be known that the guard by his side were all carefully selected, and their kung fu was considered top-notch in the Great Zhou country. But in front of Yi Li, compared to Yi Li, the difference was not small. If he could have this kind of expert by his side, It would be a good thing for him. Feeling a burning gaze fall onto him, Yi Li raised his head and looked at the emperor. The two of them looked at each other for a few seconds. Their eyes reflected the light of the fire, and the wood in the fire crackled. Chapter 23-26. He didn't expect that the person he saved on a mountain today would know Zhao Yun'er, but he still couldn't be bothered to pay attention to him. Zhao Yun'er saw this and asked jokingly, "What? Do you know each other?" The emperor smiled and nodded. "That's right. Today I was almost injured by a fierce tiger on the mountain. Fortunately, this young hero appeared in time and saved me. He could be considered my savior." Zhao Yun'er sighed in her heart. She naively thought that Yi Li had only brought back 2 tigers. She didn't expect him to save someone. Most importantly, Yi Li had become the emperor's savior. If the emperor wanted to express his gratitude, he should be able to give him a lot of benefits, right? Zhao Yun'er's eyes sparkled with glistening yellow gold. Sigh. After coming here and experiencing the torment of life, she had become very greedy for money. Her mind was filled with thoughts of money. That's even more of a coincidence. Haha, but this young hero didn't accept my thanks. I still don't know this young hero's name. The emperor sighed regretfully. Zhao Yun'er's mouth twitched. She couldn't help but sigh. Was Yi Li stupid? He didn't know how to take advantage of free benefits. Sigh. A meat pie fell from the sky, and he wasn't happy. It wasn't that Zhao Yun'er was greedy for that little bit of money, but she knew that Yi Li's life was very difficult. She still remembered how Yi Li was so down and out that he didn't even have food to eat. Later on, in order to earn money, he did many dangerous things. Zhao Yun'er was really worried about his safety. If he could save up some money through the emperor's reward, it would be enough for him to live a carefree life and save him the trouble of running around in the future. Moreover, Yi Li didn't accept this reward for nothing. It was because he saved the emperor's life. It was only right for him to enjoy this reward. However, Yi Li still had a cold and indifferent attitude towards the emperor. It was as if he didn't want to pay attention to the emperor at all. He only replied indifferently, "I already said that there's no need. Since we're not friends, why should we be friends? What's the point of knowing their names?" The emperor smiled helplessly. This was the first time he met someone who gave him such a look. If this was the imperial palace, whoever dared to treat him like this would have been punished. Zhao Yun'er was also secretly worried for Yi Li. The ignorant were fearless. Fortunately, Yi Li didn't know the identity of the emperor. In addition, the one who didn't know was not guilty. The emperor probably wouldn't blame Yi Li for his attitude. In addition, Yi Li was his majesty's savior. His majesty wouldn't be so petty as to bicker with Yi Li. However, Zhao Yun'er still pursed her lips and tried to lighten the atmosphere. Now that we're all sitting together, it must be fate. Young Master Huang, the young hero you speak of, is called Yi Li. After introducing Yi Li to young Master Huang, Zhao Yun'er turned to young Master Huang and said, "Yi Li, this is young Master Huang. He's a noble person in the capital." For the sake of giving Zhao Yun'er face, Yi Li reluctantly nodded at young Master Huang. Young Master Huang also smiled and nodded in greeting. "Miss Yun'er is very familiar with this young Master Yi?" "Amen. We're quite familiar." "Haha, that's good." The emperor lowered his guard against Yi Li even more. From time to time, he would glance at Yi Li and ponder how he could make use of this powerful youth. He admired talented people and wished that he could recruit all the capable people to his side so that they could assist him. Chapter 23-27. She knew that Yi Li was born with good looks, but the way the emperor stared at Yi Li was a bit strange. Could it be that he had taken a fancy to Yi Li? Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but imagine a romantic scene in her mind. This era didn't seem to be popular with men, but that didn't exclude the fact that people were gay, especially those important people. Their interests and hobbies were hard to figure out. Perhaps it was because the emperor had a harem of 3,000 beauties. It seemed that there were too many women, so he didn't have much interest in Yi Li. The more Zhao Yun'er thought about it, the more she felt that Yi Li was too dangerous. What if the emperor forced her to be with Yili? With the emperor's high status, who could refuse? Wouldn't Yili be ruined by the emperor? Sigh. Yili was a normal man. If he found out that another man had taken fancy to her, would he feel a chill in his heart? Zhao Yun'er was lost in her thoughts. It wasn't until Mu Lianfeng lightly coughed that Zhao Yun'er came back to her senses. She realized that she had lost her composure because Yi Li and the emperor had been looking at each other for a while. The emperor smiled slightly. Zhao Yun'er felt even more embarrassed. She quickly lowered her head and continued to roast the meat to ease the awkwardness. Soon, Zhao Yun'er finished roasting the meat and handed it to the emperor to let him have a taste. After eating the tender and fragrant roast meat, the emperor narrowed his eyes and carefully savored the taste. He couldn't help but nod his head. Then he praised Zhao Yun'er. Miss Yun'er, this meat tastes really good. What kind of meat is this? It's the 2 tigers that Yili killed. I was thinking of doing something new, so I roasted them to eat. After the emperor heard this, he was slightly surprised for a moment. Then a playful smile appeared on his face. It was actually tiger meat. He was curious why Yili was carrying the tigers, but it turned out that he was carrying them back to eat. And he just happened to freeload off the good food. It had to be said that this was the first time he had eaten such a novel way of roasting meat. It was probably because he had eaten too much of the food in the imperial palace. After tasting Zhao Yun'er's roasted meat, he felt that it was different. Delicious, delicious. In less than a minute, the emperor had finished all the skewers in his hand, but he still seemed to want more. Zhao Yun'er hurriedly took care of continuing to roast meat. She also took out the green plum wine at home to entertain the emperor. The group of people continued to chat and laugh around the bonfire. Unknowingly, the night deepened. After eating for a long time, they were finally full. Zhao Yun'er counted for a bit. A total of 15 kilograms of roasted meat had actually been eaten. After dividing it up, everyone ate more than half a kilogram. Their appetite was really quite big. It was late at night when the whole family began to prepare to rest. The children were also tired from high. When the night fell, they immediately felt sleepy. Zhao Yun'er first helped Daodu wash up, then prepared a room for the emperor to rest in. However, the conditions at home couldn't be compared to the imperial palace. No matter how well she prepared today, it was still too shabby for the emperor. For the time being, it was fine to make do for one night. The emperor also didn't pay much attention to this aspect. After the family finally rested, Zhao Yun'er laid on the bed. Seeing Mu Lianfeng lying down, she quietly asked Mu Lianfeng about the purpose of the emperor's visit. Mu Lianfeng didn't hide it from Zhao Yun'er and directly told her the reason. According to the emperor's intention, Mu Lianfeng would have to leave here in less than a month and rush to the frontier to complete his mission. Hearing that it would be a month, Zhao Yun'er still felt that it was too fast. Chapter 23-28. Zhao Yun had an indescribable feeling when she thought about how long it would take for Mu Lianfeng to return. Perhaps she was used to having Mu Lianfeng by her side during this period of time, so she was reluctant to part with him. But no matter how reluctant she was, she would not stop Mu Lianfeng. She only hoped that he could complete the task assigned by the emperor and come back as soon as possible. Mu Lianfeng reached out and took Zhao Yun'er into his arms. He said softly, "Yun'er, I have good news to tell you." Zhao Yun'er asked in confusion, "What good news?" "Yun'er, we can get married." Zhao Yun'er was stunned. This matter was too sudden for her. During this period of time, she had never expected to marry Mu Lianfeng. Because of old Madame Mu's objection, Zhao Yun'er did not want Mu Lianfeng to be in a difficult position. Moreover, whether they got married or not was not a very important matter to her. After all, she could still be with Mu Lianfeng every day and live like a married couple. She did not care about it, but she certainly hoped that she could marry Mu Lianfeng and have a more legitimate identity. Get married? And get married. Yun'er, we can finally get married. Mu Lianfeng's eyes were like stars, shining brightly. Why? Yun'er, this time our marriage will be personally arranged by the emperor. You will be the most glorious bride to marry me. Zhao Yun'er instantly understood that it was the emperor's role. Indeed, with the emperor, even if old Madame Mu looked down on Zhao Yun'er's identity 10,000 times, she could not say anything. Old Madame Mu could use her life to threaten Mu Lianfeng, but she did not dare to hesitate in front of the emperor, because her objection would not only implicate herself, but more importantly, it might implicate the entire Shitsi manor. Zhao Yun'er could not help but feel sad. Why did her marriage with Mu Lianfeng have to be completed with the help of others? Why were there so many obstacles when two people were in love with each other and got married together? Zhao Yun only hoped that nothing would go wrong this time. Sometimes it would be easier to live a carefree life. If Mu Lianfeng did not care about old Madame Mu's life and death, he would not be afraid of old Madame Mu's threats. They would have gotten married long ago. The corner of Zhao Yun'er's mouth pulled out a smile, making her mood seem a little higher. And good? When? How about in a few days? Wouldn't it be too rushed? Zhao Yun'er shook her head. Mu Lianfeng would leave in less than a month. She couldn't wait for Mu Lianfeng to come back from the frontier fortress to get married. She nodded in agreement. Sure. Then Yun'er, let's go embroidery tomorrow. I want the best embroiderers in Yang City to make a wedding dress for you in a few days. Then, we'll go to the best jewelry shop to buy some jewelry for you. When the time comes, you must be the most beautiful bride. All right, we'll also make some clothes for father, mother, and Tianan. When they attend our wedding, we'll let them attend in a grand manner. Mu Lianfeng explained his plan. He finally married the woman he loved. In addition, Zhao Yun'er did not want to get married because of him, so he wanted to give her the best things in the world this time. Zhao Yun'er was also looking forward to it after hearing Mu Lianfeng's words. It was the first time in her 2 lives that she experienced such a major event. Chapter 23-29. Because during this period of time, she had already gained experience in holding a wedding. As long as she had enough money on hand, she could quickly go to Yang City and buy the things she needed to do in the afternoon. Just as Mu Lianfeng had said, even if it was something that took a long time like a wedding dress, as long as she gave enough money and found a few embroiderers to make it overnight, she could still make a beautiful wedding dress. The two of them discussed for a while. It was already late at night, and she was very tired today, so Zhao Yun'er quickly fell asleep. The next morning, she had to make breakfast for the whole family when she woke up. Because of the emperor's arrival, Zhao Yun'er prepared a little more sumptuous food. She cooked several dishes and baked some pancakes. However, the emperor liked the salted vegetables and salted duck eggs from Zhao Yun'er's family the most. This kind of food was only eaten by ordinary people, so the emperor naturally had never tasted it before. It was because he had never tasted it that he found it novel and couldn't help but praise Zhao Yun'er. Seeing the emperor like this, Zhao Yun understood. She didn't need to prepare those exotic delicacies. In any case, the emperor was already tired of eating them in the palace, so why would he care? Instead, the emperor would like it if she prepared something that the emperor had never eaten before. After eating breakfast, Zhao Yun'er cut out 5 caddies of tiger meat for the several branches of old Zhao's family and prepared to send it over. Because Zhao Tianhu and Jinju had separated from the main branch, they couldn't share their things with the main branch, so Zhao Yun'er especially sent the 2 of them another 5 caddies of tiger meat. Because she was busy making barbecue yesterday, she didn't have time. When it was time for old Zhao's family, the other branches were all present. They received the tiger meat from Zhao Yun'er and quickly thanked her. Tiger meat was a treasure. So many people couldn't eat it. It was thanks to Zhao Yun'er that they were able to taste such a rare thing. Zhao Wenshui wasn't home, so Zhao Yun'er placed the meat in Zhao Wenshui's kitchen. She informed Qian Zurio that she would inform Zhao Wenshui when Zhao Wenshui returned. By the way, 4th aunt, what did 2nd uncle do? Zhao Yun'er asked curiously. It must be known that Zhao Wenshui's previous temperament was that he didn't go out. If he could be lazy at home, he would try his best to stay at home. Hearing that Zhao Wenshui was going out, Zhao Yun wondered if she should find a job to do. After all, Zhao Wenshui's personality had changed. He might know that he had to earn money to support his family, so he went out to earn some money. However, Zhao Wenshui was injured before. She didn't know if his injuries had healed or if he could continue to support himself. Earning money was important, but health was even more important. After all, health was the capital of a revolution. There was still a long way to go in the future, so she had to carefully consider it. Your second uncle went to your second aunt's house. He wants to persuade her to come back. Qianzurio replied with a smile. In fact, she was also happy to see that Zhao Wenshui was willing to live a good life. As the saying goes, if the family lives in harmony, everything will prosper. No matter what, they were still a family. She hoped that all the branches of the family could live in harmony. I see. Zhao Yun'er's lips curled into a slight smile. Her second uncle kept his word and actually went to look for Li Chuiying. She doesn't know how Li Chuiying would react. At this time, Zhao Wenshui was a little deflated. Early in the morning, he rushed to Li Chuiying's house. When he went, he was full of expectations. After all, Li Chuiying had been his wife for so many years and had some feelings for him. Chapter 23:30. However, when he arrived at Li Chuiying's home, Zhao Wenshui realized that he was overthinking things. He was thinking on the bright side, but he didn't know that some things weren't as easy as he thought. He was originally happy to arrive at Li Chuiying's home, but when the Li family saw him, they came out with hoes and shovels and waved at him before he could enter the yard. "You bastard, you did so many bad things to my sister, and you still have the nerve to come here? Get out of here." Li Chuiying's eldest brother, Li Dalong, almost stabbed Zhao Wenshui with a shovel. Zhao Wenshui was so scared that he hurriedly took a few steps back. He didn't want to lose his life just because he came to your house. Li Chuiying's second brother, Li Erlang, also scolded him angrily. "Shameless bastard, get out of my house. Who told you to come here?" Although Zhao Wenshui was a little embarrassed by the scolding, he did let Li Chuiying down, so Li Dalong and Li Erlang's attitude was understandable. The purpose of this visit was to persuade Li Chuiying to go back with him. No matter how the Li family treated him, he should endure it and try his best to please them. Zhao Wenshui smiled fawningly and said to Li Dalong and Li Erlang, "Big brother, second brother, don't be angry with me. I'm here today to apologize." Seeing the sly smile on Zhao Wenshui's face, Li Dalong and Li Erlang still put on a straight face and didn't give Zhao Wenshui any face. "Haha, you're here to apologize? Are you kidding?" Li Dalong snorted and rolled his eyes at Zhao Wenshui. "What tricks are you playing now? It looks like you're up to no good." Li Erlang followed the atmosphere. Zhao Wenshui's face was bitter. "Big brother, second brother, I'm not playing any tricks. I'm really here to apologize this time. I want to apologize to Tianyu's mother. What happened before was my fault. I let her down. Big brother, second brother, I know you're calling me a beast in your hearts. I admit that what I did was wrong, but now I know that I was wrong. Please give me a chance to apologize and turn over a new leaf." Li Dalong and Li Erlang looked at each other. Zhao Wenshui didn't look like he was lying. What he said was very sincere. However, when they thought of what Zhao Wenshui had done, Li Dalong and Li Erlang were very angry. There are some things that couldn't be fixed just by saying that you were wrong. After all, you had already caused great harm to others. Back then, Li Chuiying had suffered a great grievance when she divorced and returned to her mother's home. Because of this, many people in the village laughed at him. However, they were Li Chuiying's family after all. They couldn't possibly not protect their own sister's family after she was wronged, right? Wouldn't that chill Li Chuiying's heart? At that time, if Li Chuiying hadn't stopped them, they would have rushed to the Zhao family's house and beaten Zhao Wenshui up to vent their anger. They didn't expect that Zhao Wenshui would take the initiative to come here today. The funny thing was that he apologized for this matter so easily. Did he think that the Li family was so easy to bully and trample on? At that time, they had warned Zhao Wenshui, but they didn't expect that Zhao Wenshui would still do things his own way and cause this irreversible result. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.